Oops, where'd you go? We lost our guest. He clicked the wrong button. All right, going to go back to top and we lost our guest. He clicked the wrong button. All right, going to get the guest back up here again. Oh, what the heck happened?
I don't know what happened. All I did was leave the chat where you can read the chat, and it just my phone went black.
I know, that's funny. All right, we're going to introduce some people in chat. Maurice Kaysen, Want to Be Outdoors, Littlefoot, Mike Sampson, Chris Usselton,
Chris,
Jason Lamb,
Jason, how's it going?
Carmel Muncie, Fishing with Sabrina. How you doing? Thoughts and prayers for you with what you got going on in your life right now. Jeff Eisler, Fishing the Dot, and we got Lance McCouguy. So we got a nice little crowd in here right now.
Oh yeah.
We'll get more coming in after Palmetto gets off.
Yep.
So I was watching your very first video from a year ago.
Yeah.
I seen something. No, you had circle hooks on those rods, right?
Do what?
You were using circle hooks at that time?
Yeah, I was using circle hooks.
I seen a real strange hook set that you did.
Oh yeah, I've got a bad habit because I'm an old guy, and I've been doing this for so many years, and I just switched over to circle hooks about 2 years ago. So I've still got that bad habit of you see the rod go down, you yank it.
No, you just picked this one up, turned sideways, and whipped it. I'm like,
yep. I still got a bad habit of that. I'm breaking
on that one. I was thinking right when he did that, he must have J hooks on it. Rolled it in, looked at the bait. I'm like, no, that's a circle hook.
Yeah, I still got a bad habit of it. You know, years and years of doing it, I'm stubborn headed.
Oh, I understand that. I do that from time to time too. But that kind of reminded me of a video I seen the other day. Casting for backlashes from Backlash.
Yep.
You seen that video yet?
Yeah, I sure have.
He takes a spinning reel and gets a wind knot on the first cast. Then I kind of reminded me of the hook set, like.
Yeah, I've got a nice one over here that's just so tangled up it's not even funny from the wind. I went to cast out and the wind just got a big old knot in it. I'm like, I'm done for the day. I'll use another reel.
I don't know how he does it, but he gets bird nests left and right.
Yeah.
But what kind of rods do you like to use?
Actually, my favorite rods as of right now has been the Muddy River flathead rods.
Really?
Yeah. I haven't got to try the Uncle Lou's yet or the Mad Cats. Those are the two I've been waiting to try. But I ordered some Muddy River flathead rods, I think 9 months ago, and I've switched over to strictly almost using those and nothing else. I've got some whisker seekers. I've got my custom built rods. I've got a little bit of everything. I've got some Catfish Pro stuff. I mean, I've got a little bit of everything. But yeah, my favorite so far has been the Muddy River flathead rods.
Now, how much? What's your biggest cat on that Muddy River rod?
39 pounds.
No, you fished the Ohio, right?
Yeah, Ohio River. Yep.
And I know you like fishing this one spot with the trees down and a lot of flathead cover.
Yeah. I got a flathead hole probably 60 yards from where I fish at. The only issue with fishing that area is when you go down the bank, as soon as you get down the bank, it's just like You come over the hill because it's a flood water. You come over the hill and it's just a sudden drop. It's almost a 20-foot drop, and I can't make it down the hill. And usually when I get on the bank, if I go to walk down the beach itself, if the water has even been remotely up, you sink so far in the mud that you can't, in the sand, that you can't walk that far down. So I can't get to that spot. I'll cast in that area the best I can, and sometimes I'll bump down to that area and let it sit there. So yeah, I've got some nice flathead coverage over there.
Okay, we got Big Dan that just came in. Rail Gals Fishing. Scott
How's it going,
Swift.
everybody?
Fishing the Dot. Big Slim. Joy Stewart. Welcome. So, do you like braid or mono the best?
I used to use braid. I was a spider wire fanatic. I used to put 80 pound. I'm talking myself. I used to put 80-pound spider wire on everything I had, but I kept on snagging and getting like rough spots in it and breaking the line. And I started losing so many fish that I switched over to mono now. I strictly use mono for everything.
Now, Mad Cats has this new braid out that's Super 9.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be abrasion resistant and really strong.
Yeah, I might try it if it's abrasion resistant, but the spider wire, it let me down so many times. I mean, when you break off a 20-pound fish,
braid, and I lost a nice 50-pound blue right at the bank because it was more of a bass braid than a catfish braid.
Yeah. Well, the braid I had was 80-pound braid, and I wound up losing a 20-pound fish less than maybe 12 foot away from me. And I'm like, 80-pound line, snap that easy. Yeah, I'm going back to mono.
I found this braid of in Alton at the bait shop I go up to. That's a 12-strand braid. I don't know the name brand of it because they spool it on your reel.
Yeah.
It's abrasion resistant and it's super tough, but it's 12-strand braid. You get in fluorescent yellow and fluorescent blue. Hello, Kara Hernandez. Someone new in here.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that name.
I've never seen that name in here.
They're always welcome.
Yeah, they're always welcome. They're all welcome in here, whether they're new channels or not or whatever. The more, the merrier.
Yeah, that's why I look at it.
Now, have you seen the rig that Lance had on his did a video on?
Yes, actually, I did. He actually sent me a link to where I can get the stuff from, that he uses for his rig.
Have you got it yet?
No, I haven't got it yet. I don't think it will work too well in my waters.
On the Mississippi or the Ohio?
Yeah, the Ohio. I don't think it'll work too well in our waters.
Actually, I would think it would because it'd help you get the distance.
Yeah.
You don't put the hook on until after you cast.
Yeah.
That hook slides down the line, and it's like, someone else has it, and he says, it's like putting your dog on your clothesline in the back with a steel thing where it can run up and down.
Yeah.
So you can attract more. It has a tendency to where if you put live bait on it, that blue can go up and down certain levels to where you can attract the attention of the flatheads and blues.
Yeah. Well, my issue with that is that we've got so much debris in the Ohio River, and the current changes so dramatically. I mean, you could cast out 20 yards, and the current be at 2 mile an hour, cast out 22 yards and be at 40 mile an hour, then cast past that and be back. You know, there's so many current streams and channels in there that I think it would just throw the hook, you know, just all over the place, basically.
You see, your sinker is tied to the bottom.
Yeah, but the hook floats up and down. So, yeah, but the hook floats up and down. So I'm afraid that, you know, the hook would maneuver. I might try it before it's all said and done, just because it is a nice looking rig. And I'm not afraid to try anything.
I want to try it on the Mississippi and on the Kaskaskia to see how well it's going to work.
Yeah.
But when I do it, I'm going to do it a video on it so everybody can see it.
Yeah.
Because I you know me, I throw big baits.
Yeah, I do too.
Weights and baits, and throwing big baits on a rod ain't really helpful when you got almost a 12-ounce, 8-ounce, or 9-ounce sinker on it.
Yep.
So I'm going to throw the weight out first, and I'm going to put the line on it and let it slide down.
Yeah. I mean, for that application, it'll probably be great because, like you said, I usually throw big baits during the late fall and winter, like these months right now. I cut back all my baits to small baits because it seems like I get better bites with small baits than I do with big baits. But on average, during spring and summer, if I'm throwing baits, they're hand-sized baits. I mean,
I throw them either hand size or bigger than hand size.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm on the Kaskaskia or the Mississippi, and I know the big blues and big flatheads are moving. But right now on a Mississippi, I'd throw longer distances since it's colder because I want to get out into the drop-offs and deep ledges. And that rig would be perfect for that.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to worry about the added
weight of the bait. Yeah.
Right. You get farther distances, and you can just put that hook, that other part on top of the line, just let it go down. Just wait for the hit. Because as that bait's going down, you'll pass every fish that goes by it, and you never know. You might just find a flathead and blue that's just out swimming, looking for something. Yep. Now, you like spinning or bait casting?
Bait casting. I've got both, but I prefer bait casting.
Which one do you like for distance?
Actually, I've got a Abu Garcia 6400 C4, what they call a mini rocket. Yeah. That thing will go a mile, a country mile. But yeah, it's personally my favorite bait casters that I've had here lately has been the Cast King Rover. That is my preferred reel. Never had a problem out of one of them. Most of my biggest fish have been landed on them, and the drag is just beautiful on them. So never had any complaints with them. So that's what I've been using mostly.
I don't know if she's in here, but I want to say hi to Jonah. Jonna. If I pronounced it right.
I can't see chat. I would be saying hi to everybody.
Hello, Mike Sampson. Hello, Bugman.
When I went in to go to chat a minute ago to go into chat, when it kicked me out, when I went back in, when I try to go back to chat, it won't even pop up that screen for me right now. So I can't even see anything in the chat.
If you guys do you have a phone handy, or are you using your phone?
I'm using my phone, but I've actually got a secondary phone. Matter of fact, I can do that. I can turn that on and
pull up your YouTube chat on your secondary phone. Just turn down the volume.
Yeah, I can try that. Actually, let me try to see if it'll let me do it now that we've been going for a few minutes.
Just be careful.
I'm scared. Boom, I found it. We're golden. Bugman, Takedown, Sabrina, how's it going, everybody? Now I can read y'all's comments.
Yeah. If you guys have any questions for him, please put like question marks in front of the questions so I can see it and we can get them answered. And I will do my best to keep up in chat with the questions. Bugman wants to know, do the cats stay in deep water when it's cold?
Yes. Yes, that's the issue I'm having right now. I've got Louisville shut down for the most part. When the virus hit, they shut us down. They closed down everything. Then we had rioting downtown Louisville. And now they're just afraid to let anybody go anywhere. You know, if last 2 or 3 times I went to downtown Louisville, try to fish down there, as soon as I get my gear out of the car, the police walk up and say, hey, you got to go. You're not supposed to be down here. I'm like, okay, well, I've got a license that says I can fish here and it's public property. So they're like, well, we're not having any gathering of any kind in downtown Louisville. So I'm very limited right now where I can go fishing. That's why I seem to go to the same spot. And the water there is not very deep. I basically had to wait for us to have a warm front to even try to do anything because I think the deepest area in that I'm fishing in right now, that whole stretch of river, is maybe 26 foot. So the big fish do not like to lay in there. They'll move through, but they don't stay there for a while.
Hello, solo Texan.
I seen Texan, Buck Williams.
Buck Williams. I'm glad to see Sabrina back in here. Oh, how she lost her wrench, but
Chris, do I have trouble getting live bait? Hold on a second, I lost the comment. Do I have trouble getting live bait this time of year? Actually, yes, I do. That has been a difficult patch. The creeks that I usually go to, because a lot of times I'll use bluegill and stuff like that, and the creeks have been, they haven't been cooperative. That's the best way I could put it. I don't know if the bluegill have moved out of those areas and went to deeper water themselves, but I haven't even been to catch my normal bullheads I normally catch there. So I've been trying to catch everything.
If you find the deep holes in the creeks, is where you're going to find your bluegills and your bullheads.
Well, see, that's what I thought too. But the little spot that I fished that I've done in my videos quite a few times, me catching bait, that is the deepest part of that creek. That is the deepest area of that creek that I'm aware of, because you can actually see the bottom as you walk down the creek. And in that area, it's about 5 foot deep. And I've dropped baits to the bottom. I've dropped them, midway down. They just ain't acting like they're in there.
Yeah. I want to say welcome to Apache Adventures. And Wannabe says, Lovefoot says, Malva Creek should be good for the fish that you're looking for.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking too. But yeah, they're not. I haven't had no luck in there. I've actually been lucky and been catching a lot of small carp on Nightcrawler on accident. And that's actually helped out a lot, because it seems like the fish down there where I fish at love the carp.
We have Mike's Fishing that just came in, and Real Virtual Outdoors. Wow. You get a lot of people coming to see you.
Yeah, I got a lot of great people out there that come into my streams and stuff, and I love them all. They're just great people. They keep me occupied, give me somebody to talk to while I'm out there live fishing. I mean, I would be fishing no matter what, but it makes it so much better when you've got great people to talk to.
Oh, yeah. I try to catch you when I can, but now that I'm working graveyards, it's hard to catch you during the day.
Yeah.
Because I have to sleep during the day and work overnight. So
yeah.
That messes things up, so I end up watching you overnight.
Yeah. Give me a second to turn my heater off real quick. It's making all kinds of rackets. So.
Hello, Go Outdoors, Chrissy Brown.
Take down Chrissy Brown. Go Outdoors, Apache, Carmel.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a bunch of great people in here right now.
Oh, yeah. I've never seen Go Outdoors before. If you're new in here, please hit the subscribe button, the bell notification, and the thumbs up. And if you haven't, if you're new and haven't seen Yaboytroy, there's a link pinned up at the top of chat that you can go over and pay him a visit, watch your video, give him a thumbs up, subscribe, and a bell notification, and hook set him real good. If you can't do that, find the link up there. I got mods in here. They can post a link for you.
I've seen Hogleg come in. How's it going today, Hogleg?
Hey, Hogleg. Yeah, I was on his live the other night at work.
Yep.
I was bored. Nothing happening, so I went live. I joined him on his live. So, you catch your bait from creeks.
Yes.
And I know you limited spaces on your rivers, but can you go on the Kentucky side and fish and you still use your Ohio license or not?
Oh, well, I'm on the Kentucky side. I'm in Kentucky, but I'm closest to Indiana, and they do allow that as long as I'm fishing the river. But if I go out and go to like one of the little creeks in Indiana or something like that, I would have to have their license.
Right.
I try to catch all my bait in the river with me. You know, I mean, I'll go get me a few bluegills. There's the one thing I have noticed about the creeks and stuff, and it may just be a fluke, but I honestly believe that how they say get your bait from the waters you fish. You know, they get the bait where you're going to fish at. Makes a lot of sense. I see squirrel come in, Scott Swift.
Squirrel, hi Amy.
If I go to like my buddy and my brother-in-law and a buddy of mine, they go over to Indiana a lot, and my mother-in-law just moved from a trailer park that had 5 big ponds on it. I'm talking huge ponds, and they was catching bluegills the size of my hand, and they'd bring me 10 or 20 of them at a time. They're like, here you go, here's some bluegill for bait. And I'd throw them in my freezer or keep them in my live well, and I'd go out, wouldn't get a bite on them all day. I go down, I come home, you know, rest up for a few minutes, go to my creek, catch 2 or 3 bluegill, go back out and get a bite within 10 minutes. I don't know if it's something about the smell of them or what, but the creek that I actually fish in is connected to the Ohio River.
Right.
So
but you're looking at an isolated pond that has its own biology that ain't connected with a river or a creek.
Yep. But the Ohio River connects to the creek that I fish. So I'm basically, even though there's not really any fish in the Ohio River, unless you go to some of the small channels like the creeks and stuff, there's no bluegill left in it because the big fish have done ate them all. There are all the creeks around here pretty much connect to the Ohio River. Well, most of them do.
Right. I'd almost want to say that the pond fish versus the creek fish has a different scent and different flavors in the water than the others. I'm not sure about that, but that's just something I thought about. Rusty Outdoors, welcome.
I think it makes a difference.
Yeah, I think it would make a lot of difference. So, what type of hooks do you like to use?
Well, I just switched over to Uncle Lou's. I'm not gonna lie. Let's see here. Someone asked if I considered fishing private land. I have tried private land. I've talked to a lot of the landowners and stuff because I prefer going fishing in the river over any lake or anything. And there's most of the Ohio River is owned by private companies, and so far they've all told me no, cannot fish them. And I'm like, well, I'll keep on looking until I find somebody to do it.
Bugman, what you know, do you fish for cats around the mouth of the creeks on the rivers?
Yes. Actually, that's one of the best spots to go to if I can get to those.
Yeah, because you got that seam right there.
Yep.
You got that current seam right where the two come together, and you got.
Yeah, I also fish where the rivers meet rivers. We have the Salt River that comes through. That's not too far from my house, and the Salt River connects to the Ohio River, and I'll fish right there in that corner of the cove where they both meet. Yeah, I do that a lot too. Last year I haven't got, with everything being shut down the way it is, it kind of threw me for a loop. I had a lot of great plans on what to do, and I just got shunned out of it. And then my vehicle broke down, so that ended a lot of things. And I just continued to go where I was going at.
Yeah. Hello, Catfish Cameron. Where are you going to come fish Barron with us, Yaboytroy?
As soon as I get my vehicle running and everything, I probably won't be go do too many collabs until spring. And the reason why I say that is because I'm trying to get back to work right now. It's kind of hard. My doctors can't find out what's wrong with me, but I've been off of work for so long that I can't do it anymore. I've done tapped out all my resources and everything else. So I'm going to try to go back to work, even if it's for a couple days a week, see if I can do it and try to get
Payne, your biggest fan.
Thank you.
Huh?
I said, thank you, Amy. But yeah, I will be down there. I will be more than happy to come down fish the Barron River with y'all. That's actually one of the places I wanted to try to fish. I haven't got to do yet, but it's on my to-do list. I had a lot of places to go this year that I wanted to go, and a lot of collaborations that I had planned on doing. I was supposed to hook up with Lee Evans right before he broke his back, and then as he was healing up from that, I had 2 vehicles and both of them broke down, and I had wound up going on sick leave at work. So I'm like, well, I'll eventually get things taken care of. So it's going to that point.
Oh, I understand. We'll keep you in our thoughts and prayers. We get some good prayer warriors in here.
Take down rods and reels.
Online.
Okay. Actually, I can show you my rod and reel that I use mainly. Of course, I was telling you earlier, for anybody wasn't in here, that I use the Muddy River flathead rods. These are probably my favorite rods to use. Normally, I use the Cast King Rovers, but I've been trying out these Ming Yang CL80s, and they've actually been doing pretty good. As far as line goes, I normally run 30-pound main line and 40-pound leader, or anywhere between 40 to 60-pound leader. And the line I've got on there right now, that orange line, is a Berkeley Pro Spec Chrome. It's very, very affordable. It's a great line. It's never let me down. All my big fish that y'all have seen me catch this year have come on this exact line right here, because I got it in 2 colors. I got orange and I got blue to match my reels. So yeah, that's what I use.
Troy, we got a big name coming in here now. Catfish and crappie.
Oh, Mark's in the house, huh?
Uh-huh.
How's it going, Mark?
He's an amazing person, I tell you what. He'll support everybody. He helps everybody out.
I see Hog Leg's better half, Melissa, come in. How's it going? Thank y'all for coming in. Yeah, y'all was asking earlier before the other question popped up, what hooks I use. I've actually switched over to Uncle Lou's. Didn't think I was going to get on that bandwagon. I've always, liked the way they advertised for Uncle Lou. And Uncle Lou's always supported me. He's come into my streams and stuff, but I didn't think I'm not the kind of person that goes with the fad. You know what I'm saying? Well, they brag about this person, so this is the person I'm going to go with. But I actually won some Uncle Lou hooks and some rattles and some beads through. I won the beads and rattles through Brian B, and I won some Uncle Lou circle hooks through Eric Burnside. And I took the Uncle Lou hooks out, and they made me a believer. I used to use nothing but Team Catfish circle hooks, and now as soon as I run out of those, I think I've got 40 of those left. As soon as I'm out of those, I'm switching strictly to Uncle Lou's.
So, do you use the inline hooks or offset?
Usually I try to use the offset. If they're not offset, I'll offset them a little bit myself usually. But yeah, the Uncle Lou's have a slight offset to them already, at least the ones he sent me. And I tell you what, they're razor sharp. They are razor sharp. They are the sharpest hooks I've ever had.
I know. I picked up these offset triple thread hooks at this bait shop I go to up in Bluff City in Alton. Them things are offset really good, but they draw blood just by barely touching that tip.
CBA, how's it going, brother? Thank you for coming in. Yeah, I mean, it's like those Uncle Lou hooks. Like I said, I was using the Team Catfish 9/0 double action circle hooks because, like we was talking about earlier, I still have a bad habit of giving that rod a yank. I've done it for 35 years, so it's just, give it that yank. And with the double action, you can normally, hook set them like that, or you can actually use, let them work as a circle hook. And I have found out that when I've taken them out during John's tournament, I had one Uncle Lou rig out, and I had a Team Catfish hook, and using the same baits, that Uncle Lou hook went through that bait like butter. I had a fight to get the brand new Team Catfish hook through it. That's when I realized how sharp, to know the difference in the sharpness of it. You know.
No, that did Catfish Cameron. I don't remember the name, but it's not a whisker sticker. Because
What was you talking about? The
City
hooks?
sells whisker sticker hooks. They sell so many hooks up there, it's hard to keep track of the names.
Yeah, the triple threats. I've heard of them. I haven't tried them. I'll be honest with you, I haven't tried them.
But I got the container of 50 of them for about like $9.
Yeah.
So I know they're not whisker seekers.
Yeah, I've got quite a few. I've got quite a few of those myself. Quite a few different kind of hooks. But yeah, the Uncle Lou hooks. I think I got one sitting here. No, that's not Uncle Lou. That's a Team Catfish. Like I said, I've been taking my hooks off and switching them around here lately because, like I said, after I've tried those Uncle Lou hooks and them Uncle Lou beads, I don't think I'm gonna go any other route. I also looked at the price wise. I think Uncle Lou wants $20 for. No, it's like I can't remember what it was, but the price range of it was phenomenal compared to what I'm paying. Because right now I'm paying $450 for 3 hooks. And for the quality of it, yeah, I'm going to start strictly going to Uncle Lou.
You've been in what, 3 tournaments on YouTube? Or
3
2?
or 4. 3 or 4.
No, I noticed the first one was the Iron Cats.
I was in the Iron Cats. Then I did the 7-7. And then I did Bass Tournament with Jesse. And then I did John Orr's.
That's John Orr's. Which one was that one?
The Bank to Your Bank account.
Okay. Now, how did you do in the 7-7 and John Oilers?
John Oilers, I won $1,500. I caught the biggest blue of the night, which was 39.5 pounds, and I caught the smallest blue in the world. But it was the biggest fish caught on night crawler, so that put me in that category.
Okay.
The 7-7.
You got a small channel cat that might beat that smallest blue you got. Yeah.
I usually use fish bait the size of that channel, that blue cat that won the $500 category.
Wow.
On the 7-7, I actually did pretty good because the Ohio River has been fished out. So much commercial fishing has destroyed our waters.
Right.
Thanks to people like Steve Douglas, who has fought to get our waters more protected. It's starting to get better than what it was. But here in Kentucky, especially, the Ohio River has been fished out. A lot of our trophy fish have been taken out of there. So 35 years ago when I started fishing, I could go out and catch, I could keep up with the Potomac River. I'd catch 15, 20 a night. All of them being, between 10 to 15 pounds, some of them being in the 20s. The issue is as the time went by and the commercial fishing was destroying everything, it got to the point to where it went from 20 fish a day to 15 fish a day, then 10 fish a day. Then it's like, if you catch, 4 fish a night, you had an amazing night. I'm talking, it's like the night of your life here because they're not there like they normally are. And we was talking about the 7-7 because everybody was like, well, it's a full moon and the fish ain't going to bite. I caught 8 fish that night. 2 of them being in the 20s. So
I don't believe that full moon theory.
I don't believe it either.
I just think when the full moon's out, it initiates the bait fish to start feeding more. And when the bait fish start feeding more, they give off that electrical pulse that they do. And it gets the bigger cats to come out and feed on them.
Yeah. Like I said, I caught 8 that night. And I had the second biggest, the third biggest fish of the tournament. I had the second biggest of the night. John Oiler took me out from the Potomac River. And then the following night, stand 3 come in and took us both out. But yeah, I had the biggest fish or second biggest fish for the first night.
We got Tina Ladybug in here and Mike Irvin that just came in.
How's it going, Mike Urban, Ladybug?
So if you have any questions for him, let us know with question marks in front of the chat. I'm paying attention to chat as best I can.
Yeah, and I'm trying to pay attention to it also, and I'm not afraid to answer any questions, because this is how I do. Reason why I do this stuff like this, I try to do it on my channel also. Is I try to help everybody out. If they have any questions, I want them to feel free, because if we all ain't catching fish, it's not as fun. I want everybody to catch fish.
Hogleg says, I heard you won 1,500 and John Oil is better known as a Pimp Daddy's tournament. Is that true?
Yes, that was the Bank to the Bank tournament.
That was Hogleg asking that one.
Yeah, I landed a 39.5-pound blue. I see Jody's in here.
Hello, Jody.
Thank you, Jody.
As I call her, Barefoot.
Yeah, she said, I think she come in and made a comment.
She goes barefoot.
Jody come in. She goes, "Hi, Troy. I think you're awesome. You're awesome, Jody. You are."
She's amazing.
Yes, she is.
If she's
one of the best anglers out there. She is.
She was going to come up here to co-host tonight for me, but she has Catfish Weekly tomorrow, so she decided to take the night off.
I understand that. How's it going, Dale? Hey, Slip.
Hey, Lau.
Lau in here too. Lau's in the house too. We had both the big people in here, huh?
Ponchine Jody says, "Hi, Troy. I think you're awesome."
Yeah, I've seen that. That's why I told her she's awesome, because she honestly is. She's one of the best anglers out there right now. She is definitely a threat in any challenge and tournament she comes up with, or anybody gets into against her.
Sabrina wants to know, your boy Troy, how far are you from Paducah? I hear there's good fishing down there.
Paducah, I'm about 2 hours away. And that's what's got me messed up right now as far as all the collaborations. There's a lot of great fishermen and fishing women here in Kentucky, and a lot of people I'd love to fish with, that live in my state, but me not having a vehicle that will probably go around the block. They're all hour and a half to hour and 45 minutes, if not further away. I think the closest one is Alicia, and I think she's almost an hour away. So
now, how far would you say you are from J-Dog?
J-Dog, he's in I'm trying to think what part he said he was in. I think we figured it up as I was an hour and 45 minutes away from me. Hour and 45 minutes away. Now, I do have a neighbor here that I am planning on trying to collab with soon, as soon as he gets time, which is Tom Kelly. Tom Kelly was in the John Oilers tournament also, and I did find out that he's actually my neighbor. And when I say neighbor, he is within 5 minutes from me.
We have Mark Anthony coming in. We have Sharina keeping it real. We have Brian B from the Potomac.
Oh God, here goes the live. Here, Brian B's in the chat. How's it going, Brian?
Squirrel.
Yeah, Brian. I like Brian B. Honestly,
I like Brian B because he keeps chat in mind.
Yes, he does. He honestly does. He keeps people in line too. Did you see his the live where he was in a tournament on Jody's tournament, and some people was over acting, getting loud and stuff? Yeah, he put them in line too.
Yeah, I've seen that.
B is one of my favorites. He honestly is. When we did the 7-7,
I will agree with you on that one.
Yeah, when we did the 7-7, me and him was the two talking the most smack that whole time. And that's what I respect about Brian B. He can dish it out and he'll take it also. So.
Oh yeah, but I will have to give him props when he went up against Creole.
Yeah,
he
definitely.
lost a measly 5 pounds.
Well, the fact that you had the guts to go up against Creole anyway just makes you a better person.
Oh yeah, it made him a real good person. But watching him go toe to toe with Creole, catching fish to fish to fish, and closing that gap, and if he were to that tournament went on another 30 minutes, Creole's bite would have shut down on him.
Yeah, it would have.
That's when Brian B's might would have picked up.
Yep.
But that timing, boy, it would have been the other way around. He'd have taken Creel.
Oh, I guarantee it. Yeah, I mean, I love all these fishermen. I mean, all these channels. I mean, I haven't found too many in the whole community that I don't watch. They're all great people. But yeah, Brian's one of them good people, and he consistently catches fish. And I pick on him a lot of times because I'm used to catching big fish. So when he goes out there and he catches all them dinks, I'm always picking on him about it. But hey, at the same time, he's out there catching them. You know, I take a day of catching 12, 14 fish again a day again. I'd love to do that any day.
We have our favorite tackle guy in here, Uncle Lou's.
Uncle Lou, just talking about you a minute ago, brother.
We have Mr. Kitty Whiskers, which will be a guest on next Sunday night. Dale Hayslip. If we can get Mod to post Uncle Lou's Facebook tackle page in chat, that'd be great.
Yeah, that would be great. And like I said to everybody out there, if y'all are looking for hooks, swivels, I mean, not hooks, swivels, rattles and beads, demon dragons, whatever, check out Uncle Lou's.
Whatever.
Yeah, check out Uncle Lou's. Like I said, I'm a believer. I told everybody I wasn't going to follow that fad. I don't follow fads. I set my own and go with it. But after I won them Uncle Lou hooks and seen how good they worked, I will not buy another hook that ain't Uncle Lou.
I'm like you. I don't follow fads, but I do love his rod that I won.
Yeah, I haven't got a chance to put my hands on one yet, but I'm going to eventually. And I tell you what,
nice enough a while back to send me some 3-inch peg floats and some rattles and beads, which I'm very thankful for him doing. Because that just helps me out a lot, because I help a lot of catfishermen out, helping them catch blues and flatheads with those rigs I make.
Yeah, I won that John Oler tournament with Uncle Lou rigs. I was using Uncle Lou floats, rattles, his beads, and his hooks. And I tell you what, like I said, I won't buy another hook. It ain't Uncle Lou's. After doing a side-by-side comparison of the team catfish I was using and seeing the difference in them, yeah, I won't buy another hook. It ain't Uncle Lou's. Once I run through what I got, that's all I'm ordering.
I'll check him out, see what kind of offset hooks he's got, and compare them to the ones I have, and see how they work out. Pontoon says, I will do a fishing collab with Troy. It will have to be on the bank. Can't drive my boat that far.
Oh, yeah, I guarantee that. I'd love to come out there where she's at.
Jody says she'd do a collab with you.
Yeah, I'd love to come out there and collab with Jody. I'd actually like to go where she out there in her waters, because Tennessee River is the place to be.
No, I think she said she's going to drive up to you and do a fishing collab with you.
Yeah, that'd be great too.
But because she said she won't drive her boat that far.
Yeah, it'd take quite a while. I'd hate to see how much gas it would take.
20-something foot pontoon boat? No, that's too much wind drag on a truck.
Yeah.
So you fish year round, right?
Yes, year round.
And what would be your number one go-to bait?
My number one go-to bait would be skipjack. Actually, I take that back. I can't say skipjack's my number one anymore. I hope I don't offend my friends in the UK. But as of right now, I would have to probably say that my new number one is going to be carp. And the reason why I say that is because I've done better this year with carp than I have anything else. The tournament I won on John Oilers, the 7-7, all these tournaments and stuff that I got into, I've lucked into getting carp that time, those days, and those are the days that it's actually produced fish. And I've noticed now here lately that if I take a carp down there and put it in side by side with skipjack, 9 out of 10 times the carp's going to get hit first.
Right. Plus,
So,
it's harder to come off the hook than skipjack.
yes. So yeah, I just started using carp a lot this year, and it's only when I catch the small ones. I will not keep anything over 3 or 4 pounds. I think that those need to be released just like the catfish do. And the reason why I believe that is because, you know, carp are fun fish to fight. They put up a good fight. They're fun fish to catch. And, you know, I like to preserve all fish. If I'm not using it for bait, it goes back in the water. I release everything I catch. You know, sometimes I do we have some what they call fin lakes here, which is stocked by the state. They put farm raised fish in them, and they do it a couple times a year. Now, if I want to eat catfish, I'll go catch some out of the fin lakes, and I'll eat those because that's what they're bred and raised for, is, you know, for consumption. And I'll go use those. But as far as out of the river, I'm not scared to eat the smaller fish. I just want to preserve our waters.
Pontoon says, Chris, I need a catching carp for dummies book because I can't catch one to save her life.
Jody, all the carp I've caught this year, most of them have been on accident on Nightcrawler. Believe it or not, they've all been on Nightcrawler.
Carp's a bottom feeder, so they're going to suck up a Nightcrawler.
I made carp bait, took it to my creek, tried it there. I tried it in the river. I've tried boilies and everything else, no luck. I'll go out there, throw a Nightcrawler out there trying to catch some white bass or something like that. And as soon as I go out there, carp, you know. And I just see kitty whiskers pop up corn. I've tried corn on for catfish, for carp, and I haven't had much luck on it here. I don't know what it is. Art coming in. When I went to my creek, the first carp I caught this year was about a 3-pound gold carp, common carp. And I was using corn for bluegill that day because I catch a lot of bluegill on corn. And I had just switched over to Nightcrawler, and I had 2 rods out on top of floats, and the one with the Nightcrawler got hit by carp right next to the corn. They took the Nightcrawler over top of the corn.
Now, Catfish and Crappie has it right. I just use corn or a cast net.
Yeah.
But the other thing bad about a cast net with a dorsal fins of a big carp is they get hooked up in that thing bad.
Yep. Real bad.
Art 110 Fishing Club's in here saying, welcome, Troy.
100 for life. I had to do it, Art.
Now, if anybody wants to learn how to catch carp, ask Serena.
Yes.
She catches all kinds of drums and carp from the bank left and right.
Yeah, that's what I normally catch down the river. I'll go down there to target white bass, because I catch a lot of white bass on Nightcrawler. I'll go down to target those and drum to use for bait. And I've been catching more carp than I have anything.
Want to be outdoors says, Troy, when are you going to go live again?
As soon as possible. Soon as possible.
Yeah, I miss your lives.
Yeah, I've been trying to do more during the day because I had thought it switched over to a day bite. And I actually went out last week and started trying to do a bumping instructional video from the bank because I've had a lot of people ask me, can you bump from the bank? And I've been doing it for years before we knew what it was called. And I'll be honest with y'all, the reason why I started doing it is because we were talking about private waters earlier.
Right.
In our river system down here, you might go down like the spot I'm in right now, it's public property. But 20 yards from where I'm at could be a sign that says no trespassing private property, or, the opposite side. So if you're on a stretch of bank and you know that 40 yards down there is a 45-foot hole and it's the deepest water you have in that area, but if you look down the bank 20 yards away from you says private property, no fishing, you can't get to that hole from the bank. So what we would do is we would cast out and slowly bump it up and let it work its way down into that hole. And we would do that. And then it's the same principle as bumping from bumping and stuff. So it's basically, that's what it is, bumping from the bank.
Yeah.
And I went out and I was trying to do a video showing everybody how to do it. The video did not do too good as far as recording wise goes. So I just went live and did that. But I am still working on the video for it because I think it's something good for everybody to have in their arsenal. You know, any little tip and trick they can figure out and have helps out a lot.
We have Mr. Has What You Takes Has Life in the chat.
Yeah, I seen Has come in. Hey, what's going on, Has? Ugly Dog Lewis is in the house.
Ugly Dog Lures. He shows you how to take blank fishing lures and paint them and make them look like a real fish.
Yeah, I watched some of his content.
And
I spend more time on YouTube than I do on TV. I don't watch TV shows. If I've got to watch TV, it's on YouTube.
We got Fishing and Freedoms in here.
I didn't see Freedom come in. I was going Freedom.
Get stuck in. And can I get some mods to be posting Uncle Lou's Facebook tackle page in here, please? So, what type of bank rod holders do you use? Is it PVC, metal, or what?
It's PVC, and I don't use any kind of metal rod, metal on them at all. It's strictly PVC. Matter of fact, I got one back here. Get to. Let's see which side to put them on. Okay. All I do is take my PVC and I cut it long ways with like a split right here. And I make basically a sand spike out of it. And the reason why I do that is because most of the places I fish are sand. And these are 15 inches long right here and 15 inches up on top. And I'll shove them down to about where there's only 13 inches hanging out. And they push right down in the sand. But I also use them like a shovel. And I put the open piece towards the water. That way it funnels it more in. I haven't lost a rod yet on them.
Now, do they break very easy or crack that way?
I've never had one break. I've been using them for about a year and a half, 2 years. Those exact same ones. I've actually got some that I stash in my fishing spot. I didn't paint them or anything else. I was going to paint them and to keep them protected from the UV rays. I didn't paint them. I just took them down there and hit them because I had to carry all my gear on my back to go to my spot and walk down. So what I did was there's a bunch of trees that hang out by the water, and I stick it down inside the roots and hide them in there. And I go down when I go fishing. If I need my rod holders, I'll just grab them out of the tree and I'll stick them in the ground. They've been out in the sun and in the weather for 5 months and still to give me no problems.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now, are you using the thick wall or the thin wall?
I'm using thick wall. Thick wall.
I tried thick wall once on the Kaskaskia, and I had a 40-pounder crack it.
Yeah.
From the top all the way down into the mud to the bottom.
Yeah, I think that's another crack one of these. I've had them pull them. Actually, in the 7-7 was the only time I've almost lost a rod, and I thought it was going to crack. But yeah, I've got a pretty thick wall. They're pretty thick wall.
Yeah, but I had mine in mud, not in sand. So
yeah, but yeah, I almost lost one of my Muddy River rods, which would have had me heart broke. I stepped on my niece's ankle. Palmetto Cats, Kevin's in here.
Yeah, he goes, hello, Avid and River Taters.
Yep, he still called me River Taters. But yeah, I almost lost my Muddy River rod, and I would have been a little bit heartbroken over that. But we didn't lose it. I didn't get the fish, but
I seen you do that one cooking video of the River Taters.
yes.
Have you ever thought about doing another kitchen cook?
Actually, I'm working on that right now. I wasn't gonna say anything, but just for you, I'll go ahead and let the cat out of the bag a little bit. I'm actually working on a new series. It's going to be a 5 or 6 part series. It'll be out this spring. I'm calling it Forged in Fire and Wine. I'm going to go extreme survival, like apocalyptic type stuff as far as fishing wise goes. And I'm going to do some catch and cooks. I'm going to make some homemade gear. And when I say homemade gear, I'm talking forging my own hooks. I make my own sinkers already, but I'll be forging my own hooks, building a catfish rod out of nothing. I'm talking, it will not be a catfish blank or nothing else. I'm talking about either out of a wooden stick or a piece of fiberglass I found laying on the side of the road. Everything will be done strictly off of things I pick up in the trash.
Kevin,
if I ride by and see it and I think I can use it, I'm going to do it.
Kevin just came up with a good one. Is this a catfish live stream or a 70s rock band? Look at all that hair.
Yeah, I've been growing it for years. It's actually shrinking already. It's actually shrinking. Yeah, and Kevin took my idea because originally the no bait challenge was going to be one of the things I was going to do next spring. I was going to do a no bait challenge because I do that a lot, you know. And when first 2 or 3 times I did it was on accident. I'm absent-minded sometimes, and I grab my gear and I run out the door as fast as I can. And as soon as I get out the door, I realize halfway to the lake, I didn't grab my bait. So I'll go out there and I'll, you know, move some brush around, dig a little hole and see if I can't find, you know, some worms or some crickets. And I'll start catching bait fish and upsize and go to, you know, bigger fish.
Why don't you enter that?
I thought about it. I honestly thought about it. We'll have to see what's going on as far as me working wise goes. Wouldn't mind getting into a few of the ones he's got coming up on the Master Angler Challenge because Kevin has got a great mind. When it comes to creating these challenges, I don't think there's anyone better than Kevin out there. He comes up with some of the best. He honestly does.
Mr. Kitty says, I will put an Uncle Lou rod in the trash for you, Troy.
You can put one out there, Mr. Kitty. I'll use it. I won't. It probably won't be used for the apocalyptic rod, but I'll use it. That's the one rod. That's the one rod from my collection I'm still working on getting is the Uncle Lou rod, and you know that'd be the only one that I think I'll take out over top of my Muddy River rod. You know, I'll have to use it side by side with it because.
So you and Mr. Kitty must not live too far apart.
Actually, I'm not sure where Mr. Uncle or Mr. Kitty Whiskers is at. I'm sorry, I can't talk.
Her mother says, thank you, Troy.
Oh, you're welcome, Kevin. I mean, it's the truth. You come up with some of the best ideas, like your Golden Whiskey Awards that you were talking about earlier. Last year, when you come out and did them the very first year, I was like amazed. I was amazed because I was like, you know, I had just got into YouTube and I started watching the Golden Whisker Awards, and I'm like, this man is awesome. He come up with some of the best ideas there is, and you know, it turned out that way.
Mr. Kitty's in Pennsylvania.
About 6 hours from me.
No, he's 6 hours. I'd say about right.
Yeah,
now,
about 6 hours.
The Golden Whiskers is going to be in February live at the CatCon in Kentucky.
Yeah, right. 15 minutes from my house.
So you're going to be there live.
I'll be at CatCon every day it's open. I'll be there. Probably from open to close. I literally live 15 minutes from CatCon, where it's going to be hosted at. Because I live right here in Louisville, Kentucky, and the Commonwealth Convention Center. Yeah, it's 15 minutes from my house.
So you get lucky every year. You just get to walk right there to it.
Yeah. Well, I got to drive there because it's not that close, but
okay.
It's a 15-minute drive from my house, and that's going mostly through city because I'm only on the expressway going there. I think I'm on the expressway for maybe 4.5 minutes, 5 minutes. The rest of it's just side roads.
His wife says, Party at Troy's.
There's always a party at my house, apparently.
No, I'm talking about
Yeah, I see.
next time they can come over to your house and have a party.
Yeah. Well, I had done talked to Epic Catfish Tim Scott. I talked to him and said something about, well, when y'all come down, maybe we had to get together and go fishing. I had to see what we could come up with as a spot big enough to take everybody that we want to go. But yeah,
we got Michael Morello in here saying, "Bring your own glizzies."
Yeah, bring your own glizzies. Hey, I got a smoker right now that's big enough to smoke almost a whole pig, so we'd be good.
Oh, you feed an army with a big smoker.
Oh yeah.
So you don't use no electronics whatsoever on the bank.
What do you mean by electronics?
Fish finders, castable bobbers.
I have one. I've casted it out maybe twice. I haven't even tried it in the river yet. I have a castable fish finder. I've actually got underwater cameras. I've had all this stuff for probably 7 months, and I haven't used it. And a lot of that is due to the fact that I'm scared to lose it. You know, when you got a $70 underwater camera and you fish in a place that when you cast out, 1 out of 4 times you cast out, you're not getting your rig back. Kind of makes it hard to swallow the fact of casting a $70 camera out there.
Oh yeah, I understand that one.
But I've been threatening to use it all year and never used it.
That's why it says BYOB, bring your own bait.
Yeah. You ain't gotta worry about that either, because I can always get bait. The only issue with that body going fishing, and it was actually Mike Greenwell that brought that up. In February, the Ohio River is way up. It is practically in flood stage during February. So finding a spot would be the hardest part there is.
Oh yeah. Now, if Jonah, if you're in here just hanging back and listening, welcome and hi. A shout out to you. So the top 5 people that you like to fish with.
Oh man.
No, actually, I'll make it easier. Top 10.
That still ain't easy because, to be honest with you, I love to fish with anybody that's in the fishing community. I mean, definitely, Tim Scott, Epic Catfish, and Heroes. Love to fish with them. Love to fish with Has, Brian B, Chunky, of course. Like to fish with Chunky. Like to fish with you, Abbott. Yeah, I mean, pretty much anybody. I mean, I love this whole catfishing community. And I don't think there's too many bad people in there. And I think, when you collab, the good thing about collaborations and stuff is you both get to learn something new.
Right.
There's always something to be learned at all times. Yeah, I've been doing this for 35 years, but I'm still learning things every day. For almost 4 years or 33 years, I strictly used one rig, which is what I call the Louisville Rig, and I'm going to do a video about that. And the reason why we call it the Louisville Rig is because I was tying it up one day, and somebody's like, "You're tying that Kentucky rig all wrong." I said, "It's not a Kentucky rig. This is what I was showed when I was 17. I'm 49 years old now. I was taught that rig when I was 17 by a gentleman that was in his 60s that was taught that by his daddy when he was a kid. So it's been out for, 50, 60 years plus. And all my fish was caught on that rig. And until I got into this catfish community, I'd never tried any of the other rigs. And even after I started, getting into the catfish community, I was still stuck on and stubborn about changing my ways. I wasn't going to switch over to to circle hooks. I'd used them before, no luck. I wasn't going to switch over to those. I was going to stay with my J hooks. I wasn't going to set up any other rigs. I wasn't going to use any rattles, no floats, none of the Santee rigs or, Carolina rigs. I'm just going to use the Louisville rig, and that's it. Well, after using some of these other rigs, breaking down and trying them, I enjoy them. I enjoy them. So there's always something new to learn from, everybody you fish with.
Serena says, fish with me, Troy.
Oh, I'd love to fish with you, Sabrina.
And Uncle Lou says, you can fish with me. We wouldn't catch anything, but you can fish with me.
Uncle Lou, we'd catch some laughs. We would catch some laughs no matter what.
Yeah. It'd be a good time.
Yeah, we'd have a real good time.
Hello, Eric Burnside.
How's it going, Burnside?
So, how often would you use bullheads for bait?
During the late spring, through most of summer. Basically when the flatheads are on the move, I'll use bullheads. Be honest with you, I haven't had much luck off of them. I've only been using bullheads for a few years. I have a couple spots here in Louisville. If I can get to them, the bullheads work. But in the spot that I've been fishing in, and a couple of the spots I've been fishing in here lately, I haven't had no luck off the bullheads. I have more luck catching flatheads off of cut bait than I do live bait.
Hello, Outdoor Jack. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button, the bell notification, and the thumbs up.
Now, I've seen that Outdoor Jack in a few different streams also. How's it going, Outdoor Jack? How's it going?
Yeah, I've seen him in a few streams. I've seen him with Backwood Misfits, Backwood Mindset, and a couple other. So he's getting out there, getting known. So no, you use basically night crawlers and red wigglers to catch your bait from the river.
Yes, night crawlers basically. I have used red wigglers, but I have a bad tendency of oversizing my hooks. The smallest hook I use, I own some, 1/0, small 1/0 hooks and stuff like that. But usually if I'm bait fishing, I'm using, anywhere between a 2 to a 4/0 hook. Realville, how's it going?
Hello, Realville. How you doing, bud?
And the reason why I use such a big hook when I'm bait fishing is because we get a lot, like I said, have a lot of carp. We have a lot of drum, and we have a lot of white bass that will attack your night crawler every time you cast out.
Have you ever tried drum for bait?
Yes, I have. I use drum. I actually use drum quite often, or was using drum quite often. And it works good. It doesn't work as good as carp and skipjack, but it does work good. But yeah, I've used it quite a few times.
So how often what would be your percentage ratio catching cats off drum?
I'd say probably 25%, if that. It's not one of my preferred bait. It's not one of my preferred baits. It's just one of those. If I catch one, I've got bait. Usually, when I go down there, only bait I take with me is frozen bait. I take some frozen bait and I take night crawlers to try to catch fresh bait. I'll throw some frozen bait on my catfish rods. I'll throw my bait rod out and try to catch some fresh bait. If it don't work, I've always got a frozen. If not, I'll just, if I catch something, I'll use it. Wildman 307, how's it going?
Hello, Wildman 307. But you'd rather have fresh live bait compared to frozen bait?
Oh, yeah. Well, not live bait, but just fresh bait in general. The frozen bait works for me. I haven't had much issues with it. I mean, I throw out frozen skipjack, frozen shad, frozen bluegill. I've actually caught some decent fish. You was talking about my first video was that 39-pounder I caught last year. I didn't take any of my lighting gear. It's right when I very first started YouTube. I see Whisker Dreams and Backlash come in. How y'all going? How's it going?
Hey,
I just started
backlashes.
Yeah, I just started YouTube. Didn't take any of my lighting gear out there. I thought that would be a summer bite. I mean, a day bite already. And I went out and I was getting ready to give up, getting ready to go home. Done turned my camera off. took my tripod down, did everything. I had one rod out, and I've got what I call the 5-minute rule. If you get a bite, give it 5 minutes before you do anything, because chances are if they hit it, they might come back for it. And I had a chunk about this big of frozen bluegill on that line. Actually, the bluegill had been frozen twice because I'd used it the day before and it thawed out, and I took it home, refroze it, brought it back out. And I had this green rod right here with the yellow tape on it. And at the time, it glue in the dark. I had glow in the dark tape on the top of it. So I took my headlamp and I lit up the glow in the dark part, and I turned all the lights out and was sitting there waiting my 5 minutes. And I was sitting there watching to see how fast it would take the lights to dim. And I started noticing that they was getting further away from me because I was sitting directly behind it. And I'm like, why is that getting? And that's when I realized that the rod was bending in half. And I was like, oh, there's a fish. And I yanked up on that thing, and sure enough, he was there. The following week, did the same thing on that exact same rod, and I think it was closer to 50, but I did not get him in. I felt him jerk about 3 times, and he just spit the hook.
I seen you do a video of you blinging a rod with lights on it.
Yes.
How did that turn out?
Actually, most of my rods actually have lights on them. They have Illwire lights on them, and they actually work out pretty good. I use the cheapest batteries I can find, and they still run for 3 to 4 hours, depending on the weather, even with the cheapest batteries I can find.
Have you ever tried putting a rechargeable battery system in the base of it, or what?
I have, and they actually work pretty good. But I've got so much gear. Well, you're a fisherman. I've got so much gear and so many, so little space to do anything with. I see JBT come in. How's it going? 3B Fishing. How's it going? Right now, I'm helping take care of my mother-in-law. She's here right now, and I've got my handicapped sister-in-law here, and my nieces and stuff have been staying on the weekends. So at any given time, I've got 12 people in the house. So having anything extra that's got to be plugged in or charged is very hard, because you'll plug it in and you'll walk away and somebody's done unplugged it to plug something else in. So I've got to the point to where I just use, disposable batteries.
So you, what gave you the idea of doing that?
Actually, I seen that on, give me a second. Ricky's Creations come up with that idea. Ricky's Creations come up with that idea, and I thought it was a good idea, and I ordered some Illwire lights. Well, actually, I told my wife, she goes, well, what do you want for Christmas? This was last year, and I was like, I want some Illwire lights. Can you give me some of those? She goes, well, what else do you want? I said, nothing. Just give me, 1 or 2 of those, and I'll be fine. That's all I need. And then I wound up ordering probably 6 more sets of them myself. So yeah, I've got probably 12 sets of Illwire lights. I've got purple, green, orange, and blue.
Now, so you have to carry extra batteries with you when you go night fishing just for those lights, or?
I actually carry probably close to 24 batteries with me when I go out. And the reason why I carry so many is because, as you've seen with my rods and my rod holders, I'm a creator. I create my own gear. I always have. I've always been that way. I don't like the idea of going out and spending, $60 on something that I can build, for $5. So I'll build it myself. So a lot of the stuff I have is battery powered. Let's see here.
I'm sorry about that 3B.
Buck Williams wants to know.
River, it's gone. Someone stole his pole this weekend, and he's mad about it.
I'm sorry to hear that, 3B.
Real sorry to hear about that 3B.
Yeah. Now, Buck Williams wanted to know. Let's see here. He goes, what do my family and friends think about my success on YouTube? Actually, that one's on the fence. That one is on the fence. And the reason why I say that is because when I very first started on YouTube, my kids was not very supportive at all. Matter of fact, my daughter thought I was crazy. I was too old to start doing YouTube. My son, he was, you know, he's a working man like I am. He's like, how you got time to do YouTube or whatever? So yeah, it was up on the fence. My wife's always been like, yeah, you want to do it, whatever. You know, she's there for me as far as like, she don't tell me no. And she just basically stands back in the shadows. I've actually got a very great wife. I love her to death. We've been together for almost 14 years. So, you know, she puts up with a lot with me. I can promise you that. Especially my fishing.
She gives you a lot of rope to go out and hang yourself?
Yeah, that's exactly what she does. That's exactly what she does. You know, I'm a designer and a creator. I create everything. I mean, I build things. I'm a jack of all trades. I've been working since I was 13. I'm 49 years old now, so they tell you how long I've been working. In that time, I've been a mechanic. I've been a mechanic for almost 30 years. I've done construction. I've built houses. Actually, the theme park that's here in Kentucky, if anybody knows about Six Flags, which is formerly Kentucky Kingdom, Six Flags, me and my brother-in-law helped build that park. I was with the construction crew.
I couldn't but not ask that question. Chris Usleton was laughing at me for asking that question.
What question is that?
About giving you enough rope to hang yourself with.
Oh no, that's honestly the truth of how it works. Because if I look at her right now, because me having the skills that I have and everything behind my belt as far as creating things, if I was to tell her I was going to come out here and build, you know, a time machine, she'd be like, oh, have fun with that. Go ahead. You know, well, I'm going to be messing with these explosive chemicals. Well, let me just make sure I'm in the living room so I'm far away from the garage when you do it, you know. So that's basically what she does.
So are you planning to do some more DIYs?
Yes, I'm actually going to do that. And actually, matter of fact, one of the lights I'm using right now is a DIY. The whole light cost me $1.05, and it takes batteries, of course. Everybody was using black lights down on the river and actually on the rods. And actually, before everybody started using black lights, I was working my last job. Gave me the idea to use black lights and blue lights because I was working for a company that packed for Bath and Body Works, and we have a bright orange cap on some of the materials that we send through there. And when you put it in the bay, it's got a blue light in there, and that blue light lights it up, made it glow.
Right.
So I was trying to figure out how to do that, and then all of a sudden I started seeing Chunky and some of the other people start using black lights. I'm like, well, I got to find something to do. Well, I went to a dollar store and picked these up. Matter of fact, give me a second, I'll get you my light. Now, ignore how it's rigged up because right now this is just a prototype of what I'm working on. But I have a spotlight. Hopefully I don't blind nobody.
That's nice.
This whole setup cost me $1.05. These are little blue lights, and they're super, super bright. That I bought from the dollar store for $1. And I picked up some of these stakes that come. They're basically for cooking hot dogs on the grill.
Right.
And that's just a cap off of a paint can and some tape. That's all that is. An aluminum can.
One wooden handle going into that cap.
Yeah, I've got it glued in there, and I got a screw going through it. But it's retractable, so I can pack it in my gear real easy, and it sticks in the ground real well, and it climbs up almost 4 foot, and it will actually light my rods up almost as good as a black light does.
Oh wow!
And it just takes 2 AA batteries, and it weighs probably 4.5, 5 ounces, if that.
Those are all LED lights.
Yes, cheap dollar store LED lights.
Huh. Oh yeah. Set a reminder for tomorrow night. Catfish Weekly number 405 show. Co-host with Pontoon Jody at 8 p.m. Eastern time or Central time. 7 Central, 8 Eastern, whatever.
Yeah.
Time zone just bad. So, what do you have planned for your channel this coming year?
This coming up year, actually, like I said, I got quite a bit of stuff coming up. I'm going to do the Forged and Firing Line series I was talking about. I'm probably going to try to go do a bunch of collabs this year. So that's one thing that's on there. I'm also going to be trying to target some more species of fish. And I'm hoping I'll get back to one of my favorite fishing spots. I haven't been able to go live there because it's been closed off. I don't know how the live is going to work, so it might be in videos because it is so loud down there. But it is a mega spot for monster fish. It is a hydro plant that pumps out water, like Big Mike fishes in the Tennessee River. But I fish right up against that wall. I'm right there in the current. When I'm down there, I use 16 ounces of weight and it don't stay on the bottom.
We got another big name in here.
Bex. Yeah, real lost. How's it going, Bex?
Feel real honored now.
Yeah.
Everybody coming in here.
I definitely feel honored having all these people come in and saying hi to me and stuff.
Hey, they love you.
I don't know if they love me as much as I love all them. I mean, that's just to be honest. I mean, a lot of people don't. A lot of people know, and then some people don't know. The reason why I started my channel in the first place is I used to fish with my brother-in-law. We started 35 years ago. Well, I've been fishing for almost 40, but we started off 35 years ago. Monster catfish hunting. I mean, that's what we was doing. You know, we went after trophy catfish. Back then, they didn't even have catfish gear. If you wanted anything strong enough to catch a catfish, you would have to go to one of the local bait shop and have them order you a surf rod. That's why I got into customizing rods, because we'd have to take those 12-foot surf rods and cut them down to, 9 foot to make them strong enough to hold the fish we was catching. And so, we did all this. And as we was growing up, we grew up on shows like Bill Dance and stuff like that, the bass shows. And I'm like, well, one of these days we need to start our own fishing show. And we joked around about it for years, and I was always serious about it. I wanted to start my own fishing show. And, as we got older, we just, did our own thing, got married, had our kids. And then this virus hit, and it wasn't the virus that caused all the issue, but just the fact of people's illness alone. I lost close to 20 friends last year, all within a month apart. And because of that, I looked, the year before last, right when I started my YouTube channel. And a good friend of mine, matter of fact, Oz, he when he passed, me and him had been talking about me going on YouTube. I told him, I said, yeah, I thought about starting my own fishing show because I ain't getting any younger. And if I want to start my own show, I'm going to have to, go the YouTube route. And he was talking to me about it and saying I ought to do it. And then he passed away, maybe less than 2 weeks later. A week after that, I went in and did my first video. See John Euler and Lisa coming in. How's it going?
My condolences on your loss.
Yeah, he was a great guy. And I'm actually going to use his bell. I don't use bells that much on my rods, but I'm actually going to use his bell. Me and him used to ride bikes together. He was a fellow motorcycle rider. He was a retired military vet. He was in the Marines. He was a retired Marine, had real bad health. And we used to ride bikes together a lot. And anybody that knows anything about motorcycle riding, especially in Harleys and stuff like that, they put a bell on the bottom of the bike to chase away the road demons.
Right.
And he bought me my first bell for my bike, and he had just got him a new bike. And I told everybody, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get him a bell. You know, he needs a new bell. I'm gonna get him a bell because you can't buy your own. You have to have somebody's got to get it for you. And I told everybody, so I'm gonna get Oz a bell. And me and him both are Native American, or have a lot of Native American blood. So I've got him one that was a Native American bell. And the day he passed away, I got the phone call at 1 o'clock that afternoon that he passed away. At 1:15, 1:20 that day, the mailman come through, and I went out to the mailbox, and sure enough, his bell had just showed up. So I took it out of the box, or took it out of the package, looked at it, and laid it back down, and I haven't used it for anything. And I told my wife, I said, I'm going to use it on his rod, which I am going to custom paint the yellow rod for him. And because that yellow was his favorite color, and I'm going to use his bell on it this year.
Hello, Danny Stone, Lisa Elliott, John Euler. Wow, there's a lot of people coming in.
A lot of great people.
Take down Catfishing, if I didn't say hi. I've been trying to keep up with chat with questions. And
I haven't seen very many questions. I honestly thought there'd be a lot more questions than there are.
I've been keeping up with them as they go. So, you use medium heavies or heavy actions on the river?
I use medium heavy. Actually, during John Euler's tournament, I found out that the heavy rods that I do have is probably a little too much. My fish slayer rod, we were talking about custom built rods earlier. The river slayer or fish slayer rod that I built in that series, the green and chrome one, I had it out there and it was bouncing the whole night and getting bite after bite. And originally, I decided I was going to go and go over and check on that rod because it had just got a hit. And I walked over to that rod and I was watching the rod, and the rod right next to it almost bent in half. That's when I caught that big fish, was while I was watching the green rod. But if anybody was watched that video, actually look at that green rod while I'm rolling that other fish, it bounces like 9 times. It's just like bounces, and then it's so stiff that as soon as they grab it, they feel like resistance and just let go. So,
Art wants you to tell the story of the river taters again.
The river taters, I'll tell that story. Also, I see that Chris Houston wants to know if the water freezes over here. It does not. In some of the local lakes, it does, but you can't ice fish or anything because that's what I wanted to try to do. But not that I'm aware of in this area of any place that freezes up enough. And the river's got so much current, it would actually literally have to drop probably to probably -30 to freeze it. I think it's frozen up once or twice, but when I say frozen up, as far as a river goes, it was probably 3 inches of ice at the most on the top. Wouldn't be safe to walk on or anything. And the other question was, what was the other question, Avid? Let's see, I'm going back. Oh, river taters. Art, the river taters, where that comes from is, I cook a lot, and I come up with my own ideas. And my wife just came in, hi, baby. Goes, hey, man, I hear you talking about me. Yes, I was.
Hi, Rachel.
Talking about how great you are. But yeah, I started cooking some things, and I cooked a dish, and I had a bunch of friends come over, and they devoured it. And they're like, that's one of the best things I've ever eaten in my life. And they're like, what's that called? I said, I don't know. And a friend of mine, she started talking about it, telling everybody online, my river taters. I'm like, okay, well, I guess we'll call them river taters. Well, during Palmetto Cat's Catch and Cook, that was going to be one of the dishes I made, was my river taters. And I sit down there, and I knew that if I didn't catch a fish and have at least an hour and a half to 2 hours to cook the river taters, they wouldn't get done. And sure enough, I hooked 2 fish. I landed a skipjack and a carp. I refused to eat either one of those. And so I started trying to cook the river taters, and they did not get close to being done because I said something to Kevin. I said, I got to get them started because he wanted to know about them. He wanted to see the river taters. And I told him, I said, well, I'll start them up. I said, but to be honest with you, we've got 40 minutes left. I don't think they'll be done. And they didn't get done. So for almost 2 weeks straight, everybody goes, where's my river taters? Where's my river taters? Where's my river taters? So my wife and my daughter have the same birthday. Well, they're a day apart. So every year I do a big birthday bash for them. And I said, well, I'm cooking river taters. I'm going to record it and put it on YouTube. I said, so everybody can have their river taters.
Hello, Fishing with Big Mike. Welcome.
Big Mike's in the house? Didn't see him come in. How's it going, Big Mike?
Someone just said hi to him, so I know he's in here. I seen him come in. So, if you could fish as much as you wanted at any lake or river in the United States, which one would it be?
Ooh, any river or lake I want to, as much as I want. Ooh.
In the United States.
I would have to say Tennessee River. I would have to say Tennessee River.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that I would pick the Tennessee River is because, yes, the Potomac has more numbers, and they do have good quality fish. The Tennessee is more closer to what I'm used to, as far as I'm used to fishing in heavy current, and the Potomac does not have the current that the Tennessee has, especially in most parts. If you don't know how to fish current in the Tennessee, in most parts you're in trouble. So yeah, I would have to. I would definitely have to say the Tennessee River. And if I was lucky enough to be fishing like where Big Mike fishes at, and I could do it as much as I wanted to, I'd probably be out every night. I'd probably be out every night.
Pontoon Jordy wants to know, did you design your own logo?
Yes, I did.
Nice logo.
You talking about this one right here?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. I designed my own logo. This was my 3rd attempt on a logo on what I wanted. And yeah, I designed it myself.
Oh, okay. Melissa was picking on John Euler, saying that John Euler was here, but he's not. He's still alive.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought Big Mike was live. I had got a notification saying he was live.
Then he says, come on, brother, we got big current in the Mississippi.
Yes, the Mississippi is another one too. I mean, the only reason why I said the Tennessee River is because I know for a fact the Mississippi is a place for monster fish, and it's not just catfish. The Mississippi has giant alligator gar. You go to certain parts of the Mississippi, you catch black tip shark. You name it, it's in the Mississippi. But the reason why I said the Tennessee is because as I was growing up, the Tennessee River was the one place that I always wanted to fish. It was one of my bucket list places to fish.
Plus, Big Mike's over there fishing it.
Yeah.
And you know what's in there.
Yeah, they're in there. They're in there. But yeah, that would be my choice.
Was the first sticker he ever won. It's a cool logo.
Thank you, Buck. Yeah, I asked my kids what they thought about it, and like I was talking about earlier about it being on the fence, they was like, yeah, that's all right. And I asked them about the name. I was like, what do y'all think I should use for my channel name? And it was actually a buddy of mine at work that agreed on the channel name, because I was, going with, a bunch of different weird catfish names, and getting ready to start my channel. And my brother at work, as I call him, my brother, I come in one day, he goes, "It's your boy Troy." I'm like, "I like that, dude." He goes, "What?" I said, "I like that." And he goes, "What's that?" And I said, "I think that's my channel name, your boy Troy Catfishing." He goes, I said, "I think that's what I'm gonna use." And I said something to my kids about it, and my daughter was the only one that she gave me a good laugh about it. She said it would be funny, me using your boy Troy, especially since I'm almost 50 years old. She thought it'd be funny. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to use that. And it's turned out pretty good.
Yeah, Jody, if you notice, I have your shirt on tonight. I love the shirt. I like certain shirts because they're thinner and they're comfortable. They're not real thick and heavy. That's one thing I like about Jody shirts and Palmetto Cats and Catfish and Crappie shirts. They're a thinner shirt. They're not real thick. And they breathe.
Yeah, Danny, I'll definitely. Mississippi's actually on my bucket list also. So yeah, I would love to come down there and fish with y'all for sure too. You know, I'd love to fish in Mississippi. I don't know how many people watch. I'm trying to think of the gentleman's name. This is what happens when you get old. You forget people. M. Hood Fishing.
I want to know what species is on Troy's bucket list.
What species is on Troy's bucket list? Sturgeon, for one. Alligator gar, and grouper. It's the three fish. Grouper. Those are the three fish that I've always wanted to catch.
I love grouper. That's good eating too.
Yeah. But I want to catch the Goliath.
It's harder than heck to get.
Yeah, I want to catch them Goliath groupers. I want to land something, 700-800 pounds. Well, you can't.
With those 1,000-pound rocks out of the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, you can't land them. You just float them to the top, and then you release them that way. They don't, because if you try to put the thing out that big, it's dangerous for the fish.
Not only the fish, but you.
Yeah. Tara Blackburn, how's it going?
Hey, Tara. So, have you seen Tara's fishing video of her 70-pound blue?
Yeah, that was an awesome video, and congratulations. That is a beautiful fish. That was a very beautiful fish.
That was an epic fight she put on.
Yes, it was.
I mean, she did really good. Her husband did good in netting the fish.
Yeah.
Especially with a new net. So, if you had the chance, would you go? With a good vehicle and everything, would you go fishing with JD and Sarah?
Oh yeah, definitely. I would fish with Jay, with all of them. I'd fish with J Dog, Tara. Like I said, I was supposed to hook up with Lee Evans.
So far, Lee Evans hasn't been having that good of time catching fish on Ohio with J Dog or whoever else he's been fishing.
Well, see, that's what I try to tell them. I actually had Alicia and Lee Evans. I told them both. I said, y'all get a day when y'all can come down to the river, okay? When y'all can get down here to Louisville. And the reason why I said when they can get down here, it wasn't because I didn't have a vehicle, but with Kentucky being shut down the way it is and hard to find bank spots, my spot normally produces decent fish. Alicia was having problems fishing current. She had never fished current before. And I'm like, why don't y'all come down one day and I will take you to the river and we'll go to my spot and I'll try to get y'all on some big fish. And Lee actually called me twice and said, hey, I'm coming down your way. And then when I told him, I was like, yeah, let's go. I'm ready to go. I got the gear. You ain't got to bring your gear. You can use some of mine. Even though he probably backlashed it. I was going to let him use my gear. And I told him, just come on down. I got all the bait and everything we need. And then he found out there was a 5-block walk. And he's like, I can't do that. I'm like, dude, it's only 5 blocks. And actually it wouldn't have been that far because my son's girlfriend was working at the gas station right across the street, so it would have cut it down to 2.5 block. Right. So all you would have to do is cross the street, go up one small hill, follow the flood wall, then go down. I mean, it's not really that bad. I'm pushing 50 and having severe medical issues right now, and I can still make that trek, carrying, 80, 90 pounds of gear, which here lately I've been carrying on a cart. But, if I can do that, then surely the guy, somebody could walk down there, you know, with just, you know, the rods.
Oh yeah. But I use a backpack for all my tackle, so as long as I'm carrying basically is a landing net, my rods, and probably a chair.
Yeah, I carry my chair. I actually have one of them big fishing bags. I don't even know if it's over here or not. Um, I've got one of them big fishing bags that holds your rods. It holds like 6 rods on the outside of it, and you can feel the whole inside of it. And with gear with tackle, and I've had it so full and strapped to my back, and it's prorated to hold up to 80 pounds of gear. And I've actually had the handle rip off of it, having so much gear in it. And I'm trying to carry that 5 blocks.
Actually, I agree with you, saying that Troy, dude, you do not look close to 50.
I am. I'm 49 years old. I turned 49 on last Halloween.
Well, would you believe I'm 59?
No, I just thought I wouldn't. I thought you was closer to my age. I thought you was more closer to 49.
No, I'm 59 and I still get out and walk long distances on the bank.
I think that's a lot of what it is, to be honest, and I've tried to explain that to my kids. Anybody that's got kids in this younger generation or the newer generation, the electronic generation, knows that getting your kids outside nowadays is virtually impossible. My daughter was my biggest fan. She was one of the reasons why I got back into fishing as heavily as I did, because when I got married and I had kids, you know, my time focused on my kids. You know, I stopped fishing for a while and everything else. And then sure enough, my daughter, we went fishing one day because I knew use fishing because I suffer with PTSD. I've got severe PTSD and anxiety, and fishing is the only thing I can do to calm myself down. I don't drink. I don't do any kind of drugs. My worst habit that I have is drinking soda, coffee, and smoking cigarettes. Those are my only addictions. I don't do drugs. I've been alcohol free for almost 27 years. So the only thing I have to deal with my PTSD is fishing. So we went one day because I was getting, you know, it'd been quite a while since I went, and my daughter loved it. She'd come over on the weekends and go, "Daddy, can we go fishing?" I'm like, "Yeah, grab the gear. Let's go." And she did this every day, or every weekend. She'd come over and be like, let's go. And she'd push me out the door. And she did this for about a year. Now I can't pay her to go fishing. I could hand her $100 and say, "Hey, can you go with me for an hour?" And she'd hand me the $100 back and say, "No, I'm going to stay home." You know, I got my phone. That's more important.
Hey, Randall, how you doing?
Randall, how's it going?
How is Tammy doing, Randy?
That is awesome, Bex. I'm glad to hear that. Bex says that, she hasn't had a drink in more than 3 years. That is awesome. I feel better.
On occasion, but I don't smoke and I don't do drugs. But
yeah, now I will drink occasionally. And when I say occasionally, is like on my birthday, I might grab one beer. Last year, I wound up going out. We had a bunch of cookouts, and I went and bought 4 or 5 cases of beer, and I put them in my refrigerator out here in the garage for my friends that do drink. Because when my friends come over, I don't expect them to bring any food, drinks. If you're coming over to cookout for a cookout with me, I'm putting everything out. Don't bring anything. So I picked up beer, and I'll be honest with you. Out of the 3 cases I had out there, 2 of the cases wound up going in the trash. They sit in that refrigerator for so long, they went in the trash. Because I'll pop a beer, and I'll drink maybe a beer a year. And I'm done. I don't want no more.
Right.
But I was a severe alcoholic for a while. For about 4 or 5 years straight, I woke up drinking, went to sleep drinking. Passed out in places, didn't realize how I got there. I mean, I had a bad habit, which the hairs clues of what I used to do. I used to go to clubs all the time and everything else back in the 80s and 90s. And, well, 90s, I should say, because I wasn't old enough in the 80s, but the 90s. And I used to go to clubs, and one of the clubs I went to was a big club down here that did a lot of rock shows called Toy Tiger. Was the biggest club here in Louisville. Duggar, I'm Duggar's biggest fan. Just so y'all know, I'm Duggar's
Don't worry, Bigfoot can get to your spot real easy. Dallas is M68, and you have to be part Billy Goat to get to his spots.
Oh, no, not to my spot. It ain't. It's not that bad. It's
no,
honestly,
I'm talking about Dallas's.
yeah.
Dallas is, he's 68, and you have to be part Billy Goat to get to his spots.
Well, that's basically what mine looks like. But I've walked that path so much, I've actually cleared a path. If you go down my path, and I'm going to record it one day, I keep on telling everybody this. But then I go, well, I'm going to go live, or I'm going to shoot a video, and I'll take off down there, and I'll get to the top of that hill instead of recording. I'm like, okay, I've got to get my gear down here and get set up. And it never crosses my mind to, hey, record as you're walking down to where people could see the terrain, because, just like with Lee Evans and a few other people that's wanted to come down, they see the hill behind me in my videos and my lives, and they're like, I can't make it down that hill, so I'm not going to attempt it. And I wanted to show them how easy it really is to get down that hill. And I never recorded. That's that sometimes. Sometimes I forget stuff. Actually, right. Now it's because more timers, or most timers. Most of the time I forget stuff. Now, Halloween for my birthday, I did have Van from V3 and his beautiful wife, Sandy, come down. They brought me some bait for my birthday. They walked down the hill, and both of them said the same thing. It's not as bad as it looks. From looking at it in the video, you go, oh man, this hill's crazy. But when you walk it, you're like, anything bad.
It's amazing how some people look at a hill from a different aspect than what we do and think it's hard to go down, but it's actually not.
Yeah. Hi, Alicia. How's it going?
Hi, Alicia. How you doing? Troy, your hair looks nice, is what Alicia's saying.
It looks all right, I guess. It's thinning out too bad.
Long time no see, Alicia.
Yeah, that's the first time I've had it down in a long time. I usually always have it in a ponytail, and I figured I was going to start trying to let it down some, maybe to stop thinning out so bad. I doubt it. I'm getting old.
How far are you from Catfishing Katie Collins?
About an hour and a half. That seems to be the magic number. I think that most of the local fishermen and fishing women, which are the people from Kentucky, most of them live in like one little small stretch of Kentucky, and I live on the opposite side.
Okay, so how far are you from Pontoon Jody?
I'm actually probably, let's see here. She's Tennessee River. What part of Tennessee River Jody in? I'm trying to think.
Like Watts Bar?
Watts Bar, I think I'm about 3.5 hours, 3 hours and 45 minutes away, something like that.
Alicia says, I'm close to you, Troy.
Yeah, Alicia is the closest. Alicia is the closest one to me out of all of them. Out of everybody that's on YouTube from Kentucky, Alicia's the closest.
So when are you two going to get together and go fishing?
Very soon, I hope.
So.
Agreed, Duggar. Agreed. That's the issue I have too, especially after fishing all night. When you go out, a lot of times when I go out fishing, it's basically I've got to the point to where my nerves are so shot that I have to go out that day. I go for the fun of it just because I like to go. But a lot of the spur of the moment lives, which you've seen a lot of those where I go live, just don't even announce it and just go live. That's because I've reached my breaking point. The stress has gotten to me so bad that I've got to get out. And then what I will do is I'll actually just take off out of the house, grab my gear, and run down the river and go live. and I'll sit out there for 6 to 10 hours and fish. And then all of a sudden I've got to come home, and I'm looking at this hill going, I've got to go up that. I don't want to do that.
Alicia says soon. We started talking about it the other day.
Yeah, we started talking about it the other day because Alicia's one of the people that she has the passion for fishing. Okay, let me get into some of that epic catfish stuff here. For anybody that don't know, that I followed Tim Scott for many years before he was even on YouTube and everything else. I used to watch his seminars on VHS tape. That'll tell you how far back it goes.
Get back up here.
But
I don't know what it is, but I'm getting rid of him.
Yeah, that don't look like it's gonna be something to keep.
Can I get a moderator to block that last statement?
Yeah, that looks like it might be like one of those links.
It is.
Yeah.
I just can't block him.
But yeah, me and Alicia is one of them people that has the passion and the ambition to fish. She's not afraid to try it. She's not afraid to get her hands dirty. She jumps in head first. And as far as all the fishermen and fishing women that I've seen out there, she has probably the most drive out of most of them. Actually, out of all of them. The reason why I say that is she spends more time on the water than most people do. I mean, she just gets out there and she just hammers it and hammers it and hammers it. And I think a lot of the issues that she's having is one of the main lakes she fishes down here, which is Taylorsville Lake. That lake is so overfished that I think it's basically taking its toll on the lake. I actually have 4 or 5 friends that do bass tournaments, and they do bass tournaments there. They do 90% of the bass fishing there when they're not, doing the tournaments. They're still down there fishing. So you've constantly got hundreds of boats on the water. You got people, going down there catching fish. Ryan Bortz is just, he's ripping it up in Taylorsville Lake. He's probably one of the only anglers I know that fishes Taylorsville Lake that still has any luck. It's just amazing how he finds them.
Yeah, thanks, Mods. If you see anything like that pop back up again.
Hold on a second. Let's see here. What kind of rod holders are those? What are you talking about on the wall,
Yeah,
Chris?
right there behind you.
Believe it or not, I bought those at the dollar store also. There was a 6-pack for $1. They're basically just little hooks, like U-hooks that you set up on like a wall or something to hang like water hoses and stuff off of. I found them at the dollar store. You had I think 6 of them for $1. So I bought 70 of them. So I figured I'd do this whole wall right here with rods. And I've also got rods on the other that I'm gonna put on the other side. The other side, I have a mural. I can't show you right now because I've got all my motorcycles and stuff over there in the way. But it's got a picture almost like my logo where a guy's fishing like this and he's pulling the wall and stretching the wall away. So the whole wall is going to be one giant mural when I'm done with it.
Thank you much for taking care of that. If you see something like that, come back in.
And I thought I saw
take care
another
of it.
question. I'm trying to make sure. I thought I saw another question pop up. Oh, no, he said Brian got it. Okay. But yeah, what I was saying about Alicia, she is one of them. She's got the ambition, and she does, like she just said, have some plywood. It'll work perfect on that, Chris. It'll work perfect. Do you have a Dollar Tree where you live at, Chris? If you do, go to your local Dollar Tree and go to their hardware area section, and you'll find them. I've seen them in every Dollar Tree.
With those lights?
The hooks and these lights right here is where I got those at too. Is a Dollar Tree. The blue lights.
Right.
Yeah. Most of the stuff I have come from the Dollar Tree. I go to the Dollar Tree anytime I need to make anything. So Dollar General might have them too. They are affiliated. But yeah, what I was saying a minute ago about the whole
Dollar General.
Yeah, it's similar. Yeah, they should have them too. Yeah, what I was saying about Alicia earlier though is she spends more time on the water than the average fisherman does. She goes out and she puts in the work.
I tell
She
you what, she's in all weather.
Yes, she will fish year round, and she will give it 150 to 200% all year round.
She
And
does.
I want to be able to put her on. I want to be able to put her on some bigger fish. On top of that, I want to be able to teach her, not teach her because she's already smart as most of these fishermen out here, fisherwomen out here. I want to help her learn fishing currents better. Because the lake she fishes in, there's no current. And I would love to take her down here to my spot. And we've talked about us going down there. And so I can help her work on fishing in currents. Because I think once she learns currents and stuff like that, she's going to be unstoppable.
Oh, yeah. Hello, Justin. No.
Yeah, like you said, driving home soaked as it is.
In some tournaments with only like a little pop-up shelter.
Yeah.
They'll be soaking wet from running back and forth to the pools, running in bluegills, bass, and everything else.
Yeah.
And she's an amazing. It don't slow her down whatsoever.
No, I don't. And I've actually met her in person. She did come down this way. There was a concert here in Louisville when she was in the area, and she was getting ready to do a tournament, and she needed some gear. And I told her, I said, I got a bunch of gear I'll give you. Well, not gear, not like rods and stuff, but like sinkers and stuff like that.
Tackle.
Yeah, some tackle and stuff. And I told her, swing by and get it. And me and my wife talked to her for a good 30, 35 minutes. She's honestly got a sweetheart. She's the greatest person there is. She honestly is. The way she acts on YouTube is her general, who she really is.
Right.
That's not just a face that she puts on for YouTube. Dan loves to go to Florida coast.
You take a trip with me to the Florida coast. I'll put you on a 5-foot black tip shark or a 9-foot sand shark if you're up for it.
Yeah, I will do that one day, definitely. Definitely. I've actually been trying to get my wife to Florida. My wife's never been to the beach. She's never been on a beach. The closest thing she's been to a beach was I took her to Lake Michigan 2 years ago. And she got to be on the beach down there. It's one of the beaches they swim on. It looks like being in Florida, but it's not. Because that's the closest we could get. It's the furthest we could get in the vehicle we had. But anybody that knows my wife or anything about my wife knows that she's got severe health problems. She's had a major stroke, 3 mini strokes, 3 heart attacks. And I told her, I said, you've never been to the beach? I'm going to take you there. We're going to go to the beach one way or another. Well, when plans fell through, because I had an uncle living in Florida, when plans fell through for us to make it to Florida, I looked at her. I was like, you know what? You're still going to go to some kind of beach. You're going to get your feet in the sand, and we're going. And we didn't even tell my kids where we was going. I grabbed my daughter and my youngest stepson. I said, come on, we're leaving for the day. We're going to be gone for a couple of days. And I checked the weather. They said, I quote, they said the weather was supposed to be 82 degrees, dry, and very mild winds. So we drove for 8 hours down there and got down there. It was 62 degrees. Winds was so bad that it would blow you over. The water was ice cold. And it took everything in my power to stay for the 2 or 3 hours we stayed. I mean, we were sitting on the beach in jackets. And my kids being kids, they wanted to go in the water. I'm like, it is too cold to go in that water. And they dove in head first. They didn't care. They was going swimming. My wife got in up to her waist, and that's about as far as she could go in. So, yeah, I'm trying to get down to Florida too. So,
yeah. Alicia says, I fished the current for white bass and I fish the current at the tailwaters, but catfishing in the current is new to her. Thank you, Troy.
That's no problem, Alicia.
Troy is an amazing person too, and his wife is a sweetheart as well. That's Alicia.
Yep.
So, what would you give advice to? What kind of advice would you give to a beginner in catfishing?
Advice for a beginner in catfishing: don't go out expecting, a monster fish right away. Don't get disappointed if you don't catch monster fish right away. If you're going for big fish, and just enjoy yourself. That's the main thing. I mean, the best advice I can give you is, enjoy yourself. Don't be afraid to try different techniques, different rigs. Not every rig's going to work for everybody the same. What I use in the river might not work for somebody, in the Tennessee River might be a different rig. It works better. So don't be afraid to try anything. The main point is just have a good time, enjoy yourself, and don't go broke doing it. Don't go out. If you're just beginning in fishing, do not go out and buy, the Muddy River rods. Don't get mad at me, Lou. The Uncle Lou rods, these Whisker Seeker rods, or any of these expensive rods I got back here. You don't have to have those to have a good time.
Just go to Walmart and get a cheap.
Yeah, $25
combo.
Yep, $25, $30 rod from Walmart will get you on some fish.
That's where I started.
Yeah, and just time on the water. I mean, the more time you get to spend on the water, the better you'll get, and you'll learn. It's a learning curve when you first start, but just like anything, once you get used to your waters, you'll do great.
Oh yeah, you'll be great once you get used time on the water and get used to it all.
Yep.
So, would you suggest Carolina rigs or the Santee Cooper rig or Kentucky rigs for beginners?
Beginners, I would probably suggest. Well, see, there goes again though. Different waters, different times of the year.
Right.
I prefer. I've learned in the last 2 years since I've started changing rigs up. The best rigs to go with, to my point, or what I've seen, is during the spring, summer, and fall months when the fish are actually moving. The Santee rig works great. But when you get into late fall, winter, when the fish are not that active and they're staying towards the bottom, I usually switch back over to a Carolina rig. I would suggest a Kentucky rig works well for beginners. If you have problem tying a knot, Kentucky rig might help out, or a Louisville rig especially. I can actually show you all that rig if y'all want to. Y'all get a laugh off of it.
Yeah, what is the Louisville rig anyway?
All right, give me a second, get some line. I'll show you. Actually, let me
if you don't know, Mark is having an open house coffee on Monday morning at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. It's an open house. So you can go over there at Catfishing Coffee in the morning and have coffee with him and chat with him. And Monday night, it will be Catfish Weekly with a co-host of Jody. And right after that, it will be Catfishing Crappie Podcast.
Give me just a second. I'm going to try to find some bright enough line where people can see it.
All right. One thing. If we can get Yaboytroy up to 370, it would be great. So if you don't have Yaboytroy, go over to Hook Set him and watch one of his videos and give him a comment and a thumbs up. and hit the bell notification on this channel. All he needs is 8 more to get up to 370.
All right, we'll just use some of my Berkeley big game. This is what I was talking about earlier. This is the line I use for most of my fishing now.
Wow.
Berkeley Pro Spec. I think I paid $24 for this spool. It's a 1,480 yard spool, a 30-pound mono, bright orange.
That's a big spool.
Yeah. $24 for that big spool. You order it online through Amazon or eBay, and you can usually get free shipping on it. So I'll use it since it's bright orange. Now, anybody that knows anything about the Kentucky rig knows the setup. Actually, I might have to get a bank sinker real quick. Take some line off here, and I'll get a bank sinker. I'm sitting over here. Don't look.
And can we get Yaboytroy's link shared out again? And if you haven't subscribed to Panfish Nation, please go over there and do so. Let's help them get up to 1K. They have an amazing show every Thursday night with some amazing guests. A lot of good info.
Give me just a second. I'm trying to find a bank sinker. I put out my bank sinker in my bag. And there we go. All right.
Thank you to all of my mods for sharing the links and the information throughout the week.
All right. And I'll grab me a little hook so y'all can see.
And Tuesday night there is the Bullock Experience and the Muskrat Adventures behind him. Wednesday night will be Patriot Catfishing of America. Thursday is a bait shop with Panfish Nation. And Friday we have 2 stands. Hey, Crappy Day. And Sunday you have Palmetto Cats and you have mead in the week.
Yeah, Chris, go to Dollar Tree. You'll find all kinds of goodies there. All right. This is what I call the Louisville Rig, okay? Like I said, I was taught this rig when I was like 17 years old, 49 now. So that tell you how long it's been since I've been using this rig. On top of that, the guy that taught me was in his 60s. His dad taught him this rig. The reason why he taught me this rig and my brother-in-law was because he felt bad for us because at the time we couldn't tie a knot to save our lives. We'd hook into a fish, our hook would come undone. He said, let me show you a quick, easy way to make a knot that works, okay? And it's similar to the Kentucky rig. All you do is fold your line, fold it in half like this, okay? Just tie an underhand knot, pull it tight, and tie a second one right on top of that. Right there on the exact same knot. Pull it tight, and that knot's not going nowhere. It is not going nowhere. It takes you seconds to tie it up, okay? And anybody that knows anything about Kentucky rig is they'll tie that loop knot right there, and they'll come up, and then they'll make a fancy knot right here that's real tight, like a T-knot that comes out to the side.
Right.
And then they put the hook right here in this T-knot, and they put the sinker on the bottom right here. Well, the Louisville rig is set up just the opposite because you got 2 of these drop loop rigs, or the hoop loops. You just come up about 14 inches. You tie you another double knot real quick. Don't take no time to do it. I could tie this rig in a matter of seconds. You don't need swivels or nothing else if you're just getting started out. There'll be less gear you got to buy. And there's your rig, okay? Let me cut this this end off here, tag end off here, make it where it looks nicer. But then you're stuck with a rig like this. Okay, take you seconds to do it. Now, what we've always done is it's Kentucky rig, the hook's in the center, the float's in the bottom. We don't do it that way. Take that loop, you fold that loop in half, you feed it through, you open it back up, you bring your sinker through, and flip it back on top of it. Now you can change that sinker out as much as you want to. That's just that easy. You can just unfold it, sinker's back off of it. So if you have to change your sinker to a different size, it's not a problem. You slide it right on through there and lock it in place. You do the same thing with the hook. Like I said, I don't know how easy this hook's gonna work. I got a small hook so y'all can see. I want to make sure y'all can see it.
That's a small hook?
That's a small hook. And then you're stood up with Louisville. And the reason why we use this rig so much, you know, like I said, the Kentucky rig, the float would be on the bottom, and then you'd have that T line that comes off the side. You'd have the hook right here. Now, right. I've hooked gar coming up where they tangled up in the line, where you got that T knot trying to get to the bait, and they open them from the back side, and they hit that line and tangle up in it to where they don't even get the hook. You pull them in, they're not even hooked. They're just tangled in the line because they got to the line before the bait.
Right.
I don't like that rig for one. Two, yes, that will leave it off the bottom, you know, hanging up like this by a few inches, right? But think about it this way. You got this this sinker sitting at the bottom of the water, your float's up here. I mean, your hook's up here. It's got all that room to move and drift in the current, and there's nothing stopping that hook. When they grab the bait, they're grabbing the bait no matter what because it's sitting up in an angle like this. Right. So they grab the hook automatically. So this is the rig we used for I'd say almost 30 years or over 30 years. This is the rig we used nonstop. The only issue with this rig is your main line is also your leader line. So if you're only using 20-pound test, you've only got a 20-pound leader.
Right.
All you got. But as far as knot goes, I tell you right now, I've never broke one of these knots.
Wow.
And I can tie this rig in probably under 35 seconds. So it's always a good knot and a good rig to learn. This is actually the rig I use when I'm bumping from the bank. And the reason why that is because I'll have my bait floating up like this in the current, and I'll lift this sinker up off the bottom. The current will push it a few inches and drop it down. Current will lift it, drop it down. Lift it, drop it down. Because the bait can float up enough to take it with it. And also, there's no, it's all one line. There's no swivel, nothing else between you. That is just what you've got.
Jody. Melissa says, cool, thanks for showing us. Punching Jody says, I know, Melissa, should be a great, even if he eats honey buns over zebra cakes.
Yeah.
But what are your PBs?
My PB, let's just go with my YouTube PBs. I've got 25 witnesses proving my other PBs, but I get a lot of slack from it, so we go by my YouTube PBs. My YouTube two PBs are 39-pound blue and 11.5-pound flathead. So.
And what baits do you use for flatheads?
I use cut bait and live bluegill and bullheads.
So you just basically. And how often do you know where the flatheads are, or what?
Yes, I actually have a flathead hole right where I fish at. Like I said, it's less than 70 yards down from where I fish. It's just getting to it is almost impossible, and it's one of those things to where when you cast out in that hole, you're not getting your gear back. Now, for a boat, it would be great because you can go right over top of it. But what it is there's. If anybody that's watched any of my live see the trees on the edge of the river, right? And one tree, especially the one I'm climbing on top of when the water's up, now you can see the roots. Right. All those they're getting washed away and they fall down. Well, when they fall down, the roots stay in the ground, but the tree itself's underwater.
Right.
Well, in one spot, there's 7 trees in about a 40-yard, 50-yard stretch that are laying down. These are 30, 40-foot trees that are laying flat in the water. And they've been there for years. You know, some of them probably been in there for 9, 10 years. So the flathead congregate in there. I've been catching baby flatheads on accident in my area on night crawlers. So that tells you how bad the population of flatheads are in that area.
Hello, Angler of the Ville. J-Dog's in the house.
How's it going?
So, you prefer fishing for flatheads overnight or daytime?
If I'm going to fish for flatheads, I prefer during the night. I've actually only caught a few during the day. Most of them have been at night. On the 7-7, the one I said I almost lost that rod on, I probably lost and I'm guaranteeing it was a flathead by the way it hit. I almost lost that rod, and I lost probably a new PB flathead. I had it casted as close to my flathead spot as I can get it. I had a 10.5-inch bullhead on it, and when I cast it out, while it was sitting there, I looked over, and anybody that's got any of these muddy river rods know the medium heavy that I've got right now, they don't flex much. They are strong rods. You know, this rod was bent in half. The rod holder had started bending in half to the point to where there was so much tension on it that it almost shot out like a rocket. It almost took off out of the rod holder. If I would have waited another 5 seconds, 10 seconds, that rod would have shot out like a rocket. Because, I mean, it had that much tension on it. And I went over and I felt a small jerk. Well, it wasn't a small jerk. It almost took my shoulder out of place. And then it just let go.
Pontoon Jody says, I have a hole like that I fish. I call it the rat's nest.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Over it.
Jody, if I was to drain the water, if the water was to ever go down in that spot, I can promise you I would probably come back with at least 70 pounds of lead and probably 150 hooks if they ain't rusted away.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, easily. Now, what I was talking about earlier about my YouTube personal best and my PBs is, like I said, I started monster catfish hunting 35 years ago when we actually had fish in the waters. And I don't have pictures. Well, I do have pictures if I can locate them, but they're off the old, wind up, take a picture and develop it type cameras. Because we didn't have cell phones back then. My personal best before YouTube, I had a 102-pound blue and a 76-pound flathead.
Damn.
Both was caught off the same dock using the same bait. Not the same piece of bait.
I would still keep them as PBs.
Yeah.
Even though they're not YouTubes, they're still your personal best.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm one of them people that I try to be as honest as possible. I don't like lying. The only time I even lie to my wife, because I don't lie to her at all. The only time I lie to her is around the holiday season. When I'm working, like when I was working as a mechanic, there was days that they's like, well, it's 5 o'clock. I know you're scheduled till 8, but we need you to go ahead and go. We got to cut back when I got to work. And my wife will call and be like, what time you get off tonight? I'll be like, 7 o'clock. I'm getting off early. That way I can sneak off to the store and buy her Christmas gifts. Other than that, I don't lie to nobody because I've always found that if you lie, it's going to come back to bite you in the backside. So
now she knows your secrets about getting off early around Christmas time.
She caught on to it right away. But being the woman that she is, she's an awesome woman. She honestly is. She puts up a lot of stuff with me. I mean, I'm surprised that she hasn't hit me with a frying pan by now because she puts up with so much stuff. But her being the woman that she is, she found out about it and she didn't say nothing about it because one Christmas she did that to me, and I had got off at an hour early and I snuck out to go Christmas shopping. And I come home and I was sitting there and I was waiting for her to lay down and go to bed because I stay up all night. And I was going to sneak out to the car and get her stuff out of it. Well, at the time we was living in a real high crime area, so I was getting antsy. You know, I went and bought her a real nice, expensive bracelet. And I didn't want to leave it in the car because I didn't want somebody breaking into the car and stealing it. So I wound up sneaking out there and trying to grab it and told her I forgot something in the car. You don't need a frying pan, but but yeah, I snuck the bracelet in, and she goes, "I don't know why you're trying to sneak stuff around." She said, "I know you got out work an hour early and you went shopping." I'm like, "Oh crap, busted." But yeah, she's a good woman. She's actually the love of my life. We've known each other since I met her when I was 14 years old.
But she didn't follow you out there to see what you were getting out of the car.
No, she didn't follow me out there. She's never been that kind of person. If I could put her Christmas present in front of her, and she's like, "Yeah, well, I'll get it on Christmas." She's not a materialistic person.
Wow.
She supports me in every way she can. She always has. She's totally different than any other woman I've ever met. I've been in a lot of relationships in my life, and yeah, she's totally different than any woman I've ever met.
Melissa's really helping her out in chat. Rachel says you don't need a frying pan, but it helps.
Yeah.
Melissa says seasoned and all ready. Take them all, Rachel. You never know.
Yep. But yeah, she like I said, she's the love of my life. Me and her fell in love. Basically, we've known each other since we was 14. I'll tell you a quick story about that one. We've known each other since we was 14. She got married, moved to Kansas City, and then to Missouri. And she was going through a bad divorce. I mean, it was normal divorce. But she was going through divorce. She come back to Louisville. She started staying with her mom, with her son, you know, trying to get, you know, on her feet again. And her mom was always my mom. My mother, anybody that knows my back past knows my mother and father was abusive alcoholics, threw me out when I was 11. I was homeless for almost 6 years on and off because of their alcohol abuse when I was a kid. So, you know, if I got thrown out, her mom would always say, "Troy, I got a couch in here." You know, she'd put me up on the couch. She made sure I got fed. She's always been a great woman. Well, even as an adult, she took care of me because my daughter's mother had a drug problem at one point in time, caused us to lose custody of my daughter. And when she didn't get her way one day and I didn't give her money, she had called the cops, made up a bunch of stories trying to get me out of the house so she could root through the house for whatever she could sell. Me not having no place to go, of course, mom goes, "I got a couch." So I come over to my mother-in-law's house. At the time, she's just my mom. And Rachel happened to be there. And we just sit around for 2 or 3 days talking about the good old days, you know, us growing up together. And we just fell in love with each other. Never thought it was going to happen. But it has.
Melissa's still trying to push off cast iron skillet. Melissa needs to keep one for hog leg, and I'd be pushing them all up on.
I think that's what it is. I think Melissa's doing that because she wants to use one on hog leg, but she don't want to get in trouble for it, so she wants somebody else to do it. She's like, if somebody else does it for me and, you know, takes that pressure off of me, I'm good. They do it to somebody else, I'll get my pleasure out of it.
I think Melissa's too scared to hit hog leg.
I don't think she's scared. I think, she might be scared of what she'll do if she hits him the first time.
Oh, Melissa says I got plenty for hog leg.
Yeah, I bet
if we break one.
Yeah, I bet she does. Melissa's awesome people, and she's a great mod too.
Oh, she's an awesome mod.
Yeah,
I was giving her a heck the other night in Hog Leg's live, saying I miss my mod that I used to have. She goes, "What do you mean you used to?" I says, "Well, you're never in my lives anymore." I was giving her grief that night. But any last words or thoughts?
No, I just want to, if anything, I want to thank everybody for coming in, and and joining the show and asking the questions that they did ask. Had a great time being on here.
Can I get a mod to take care of that link?
But yeah, I mean, I would like to thank you, Evan, for letting me pull me up on the show. I mean, it was great. I was excited about doing it, and honored actually to be able to come on your show, because you've been doing this for so long that to me, you're one of the, when I very first started YouTube,
Get
you
rid
was
of
one of the
mods
shows I
if you
see.
don't mind.
So it was an honor coming on here.
It was an honor to get you on here, even though it's been a while, but patience pays off.
Yes. Well, like I told you earlier before we went live, and I'll tell you again in front of the chat, Abbott asked me to come up on his show a few months back, but my health took over. Couldn't find time to do anything because of my health and because of my family and everything else. Anybody that's a parent out there knows when you got a family and everything else, there's a lot of things that goes into it. So I couldn't find the time, and I had a few people ask me if I'd go on their show, and I told them, I said I would love to, but I had promised Abbott I would come on his first, and until I do Abbott's, I can't do anybody else's out of respect, because he was the first person to come to me, and I did promise him that I would do it. And I'm one of them people that if I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it,
Oh, yeah.
And I respected Abbott because he come to me about it, and he asked me,
And thank you, ladies, for slinging your hammers. And that
Yes.
guy, he probably feels every bit of the pain from the cast iron skillets.
Yeah, we need emojis for a skillet. Does anybody got a skillet emoji? We need to get that one right there. We need to make sure Melissa's got that one. That way she can give them the skillet from now on. Just ding.
Melissa says, we enjoyed the interview with Troy. Great show, Abbott and Troy. You're welcome. This has been, 3 months in the making?
Yeah, it's been 3 months in the making. 3 months. And for anybody in the chat that had questions that might not have got a chance to ask them or whatever, if you ever come into my live, feel free to ask any questions you have. My goal is to make sure everybody's out catching fish and enjoying themselves. So that's my goal. If I can help you out in any way, that's what I want to do.
And if you're on Facebook, you can look up Troy on Facebook and ask him in Messenger there.
Yeah, actually, you can find me on Facebook, Troy Daniels. Just remember Jack Daniels. That's my last name, Daniels. You can find me on Facebook. I'm also on TikTok under Yaboytroy Catfishing, so you can find me anywhere. So.
But it's been fun, and thank you for finally coming up here, Troy.
We're
gonna have to do this again because it was an amazing time.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. I had a blast.
Just remember, when I hit 1K, everybody that's been on my panel or a co-host or a guest will be able to come back up and chat about the memories or whatever they want and just have a celebration.
Hey, sounds great. I can't wait till you hit 1,000. You should already been over that. You should have been 2 or 3K.
I should have been, but it is what it is. When I hit it, it's going to be a fun time. It's just going to be a time for celebration and have all the friends and everybody here.
Yeah, for sure. I can't believe I'm as high as I am right now. I never thought I'd make it to 50. I honestly didn't. Then it was actually Cats. It was actually Palmetto Cats that pushed me over the 50 mark. I gained 112 subscribers that night in one night after the Iron Cats.
I'm going to refresh your page real quick to see what you're at. You're sitting at 364 right now.
Yeah. See, I never thought I'd be that high. I never thought I'd get that high.
I helped you get a few tonight, but
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And I thank you. And I
and
thank
that
everybody
that's
that's
going to be watching this in the future. They're going to see your links and pinned up in the description, so they'll
yeah.
be able to go over and visit you and hook at you. Oh, Melissa has an icon.
Uh-oh. She got the icon now.
She
All
look,
right.
there's a pan icon. Pan's definitely ready now.
Yep, that'll work. That's what you need.
Okay.
To get that pan.
Don't ask the right person for the ammo because she's going to probably use it against you if she gets a chance.
Oh, I guarantee she will. I guarantee she will.
Jody, you did good. Don't worry about it. Oh, Rachel's got it now. Rachel's got the icon now. The pan. You ladies were doing good with that. I know chat was flying, so it's all good. You guys got rid of him. Those kinds of things that we don't want in chat.
Yeah. I've had that experience. I've had that experience.
Huh?
I had that experience. My second live out. Matter of fact, in the cat cave here, I was live trying to do what the late night talk stuff, and had a guy pop in. He had somebody's name of a channel that I had already known, talked to a few times in my live. So I didn't hesitate to let him up, and it was pornography. So I had to delete that whole live, and I think we had almost 45 people in that night. It was a great live, probably one of the best, sit-in home lives you can have. And I had to delete the whole thing because some guy come in and ruined it.
Jody's not in trouble. She's done good.
Yeah, Jody always does good. She's a great
Jody's
person.
a good girl. She has no wrong in her.
No.
In my eyes, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, she's good people.
Everybody, the ladies in chat are good people. Rachel, Emery, it's a pleasure to meet you, and I thank you for coming in and being so supportive of your man. He's an awesome man. He has awesome content. If you haven't watched some of his content, please go over there and do so.
Yeah, and it's only gonna get better from here. Every day I learn something new about this technology stuff because I'm an old guy, and yeah, every day it's gonna get better. I've got a knockoff GoPro that I've had for along with all the other electronics I had that I just now started using. So we're gonna have some more footage off of it and everything else. So the video quality is gonna get better, and with them opening up a lot of places now, as far as my favorite place to fish. Yeah, I'm gonna do some more content there, and we'll probably catch some more fish and do some better stuff. So it's gonna get better from here. You're all good, Aaron.
We were just fixing to close the show, and Jody messaged me. You might want to enjoy the guest that will be on next week if you want to pop in for a bit, which will be Mr. Kitty Whiskers, which will be the guest next Sunday night.
Yeah,
so it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, I think it'd be an awesome one too.
And he's from Pennsylvania, and he on his thumbnail he has a flathead that he has caught. So let's tune in and see what he has.
Yeah.
Thank you, Troy. Thank you for everybody coming in and supporting Troy and my channel. Let's have a good night, tight minds, and let's get after and go fishing.
Thank you, everybody, for coming in.
Huh?
I said, thanks, everybody, for coming in.